opinion. Go to @1075 The Game on Twitter X and participate in our polls. Our Twitter X polls sponsored by IntelliSystems. Schedule a cyber audit today at IntelliSystems.com. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
All right, last look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on this Thursday morning. A couple accidents to report, one at Fernandina and Evelyn, another one at I-26 eastbound and Harbison Boulevard, and one more at Rimmer Pond Road and Hardscrabble Road. Today's temperature, it's going to be 98, heat index up to 105. It's going to be another hot one, so stay cool and stay hydrated. And it's currently 79 here in downtown Columbia on The Game.
Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game, WNKT Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station. The Extra Point with Tyler Hadd and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on 107.5 The Game app.
All right, 9 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Hadd and Jack Veltri along with you here, getting you closer to the end of the week, almost to the weekend, Jack, and the final weekend without some form of college football from now until, well, I guess like mid-January, because you'll have even the semifinal games go into like January 10th. Or whatever. So we've almost made it. This time next week, we'll be able to start previewing week 0. 16 days till Carolina kicks off. As I say every single day, it's getting closer.
We're getting closer, man. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think about staff picks, man. I'm figuring out. Yeah, I got to probably reach out to a few more. Because I realized yesterday, not everyone for 107.5 does the staff picks. So I got to reach out to the rest of the crew and see if they want to partake in the fun. But yeah, man, it all starts next week, so probably sometime by the end of the weekend I'll have those picks sent out, and yeah, man, and then we're off and rolling. It's like that to me signals like, all right, college football is finally here.
Yeah, we need some kind of prize for that, right? Like there's the bragging rights, but we need some kind of formal, like, this is what we're fighting for in terms of staff picks.
When I text all of you guys at some point, maybe like on Sunday or Monday, about staff picks being sent out, I think we will come up with something. I think that would be something would be fun. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, playing for something gives a little bit more meaning.
I think you also need a disqualifier at some point for certain people that don't get their picks in by the deadline that you repeatedly give throughout the week.
No, I mean, I'm setting a harder deadline.
Yeah.
Like I understand like work is busy and whatnot. It takes 10 minutes to do staff picks. So yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to let everyone get their picks in, but man, there are times where it's like what I've ended up doing in the past is I'll just put in the picks myself. Yeah. And I'll pick it, whatever the odds makers are saying who's going to win. That's what I'll go with, and that's that.
So. Yeah, it's a default. It's almost kind of like certain classes in college. If you like missed a test, they're like, well, you get the average or whatever the class gets. Exactly. You better hope that's passing. Yeah, I think it's a smart way to do it.
College. What is this about?
Now, I never got it either, but I've heard about this where like, if you missed a test or something like that, then you just get the average of whatever the class is, and you better hope it's a passing grade. Again, I've never experienced it. I just heard this is a thing apparently.
Wow. That is fascinating.
Actually,
I've never heard of that.
I say that. I did in my first ever college class with Dr. Solosky. It was, I forget what the name of the class was, but he would do news quizzes every single day where we had to like read like New York Times and like Washington Post and all these like, and it was really hard because it could have been on literally anything in the news in the past 24 hours. And he would ask 4 questions every single day. And you could either take your score or you could take the collective average of the class if it was above your class grade. So I took the average of the class a lot because I was not good at those news quizzes. And usually the class average was around a B or a C. So I took that a lot.
Oh man, that's not bad. But geez, I didn't even realize that was a thing. But anyway, yeah, at some point staff picks will be sent out, and man, I mean, there's a full slate. There's 8 games, I think, for week 0, which is nice. And that's the FCS has their full slate starting next week. So I mean, it's about here, man. And then 16 days from now, we'll be talking about those Gamecocks. How will it be?
Yep. Well, I really had to rack my brain on what to talk about for 16 days to kick off. It's really hard to think of somebody relating to the number 16 with this team. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think. Who else has actually worn 16 at South Carolina?
Well, the whole time I've been here, it's been Lenora Sellers. Gosh.
Jalewis Solomon wore 16?
He may have. In fact, so Kev Miller.
That is the other 16. He has worn 16.
Kevin Miller has given me access to his spreadsheet on all the jersey numbers for his countdown to kickoff stuff.
For this.
He does.
My God.
And I reference it every day to like, kind of give me a direction to go in terms of who to talk about or statistics and stuff like that. I didn't look at it for 16, but he has Sellers, Rashad Fenton, and Shaq Wilson.
Okay.
Apparently that was Shaq Wilson's first number because it's got a star next to it, which means he didn't wear it his whole career.
This is before you and I were on the beat. What did he wear?
Was he 54?
Yes, this was 54. Oh, so
Okay.
he's an older player. Okay. So
let's see.
we're talking like early 2010s.
Yeah.
Based on these uniforms.
He's known as wearing 54, but I guess maybe as a freshman he was 16 or something.
Wow,
That happens. Like when you get to school, unless you're just like a dude, they just kind of hand you a number. Now, as it goes along.
Unless your name is DJ Pickett and you get promised the number.
Well, that's true. But even then, you had to wait a year for it.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah, there's I've learned a lot of guys that had early numbers through Kevin's spreadsheet. Like, oh, I don't think about that guy with that number, but okay, that's unique.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Lenoris makes the most sense for 16 days.
Lenoris does make the most sense for 16 days. And unfortunately, in talking about Sellers this week, we've talked about it more about his brother and his injury. As we kind of focus in Lenoris now, look, we know at his best, he's capable of being a first-round pick, capable of being in the Heisman Trophy conversation, capable of legitimately being one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And you and I have been covering this team for about the same period of time. At what point did you know that, like, hey, this guy's a dude? Well, was there something in those couple of games that he got in 23 that told you, like, hey, this guy could be really special?
It's always going to be that throw he had against Furman. I want to say that touchdown pass was to Tyshawn Russell.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, who ended up, I don't even know where he's at now. He was at Syracuse. I don't even, like, that's such a random receiver. Let me try pulling it up real quick. I think he's still at Syracuse. Yeah, he's still there. He's still there.
As far as Google tells me, yes, he is.
Yeah, and he's in his senior season. I love how I go on Syracuse's roster, and it's literally his picture from when he was at South Carolina. And how can you tell? Well, the way the tie looks, it's silver, black, and a shade of garnet. So that is very interesting to say the least. Needless to say, that was the point where I realized, okay, this guy may end up being pretty good. I didn't foresee what was to come the following season. Quite frankly, no one really did. You look at the national landscape of college football, nobody was talking about Lenoris Sellers from the national media. And then he goes out there and does what he does. And then after the season, it's like, oh my gosh, Lenoris this, Lenoris that. Couldn't get enough of him. Where I think he did become a star for that offseason there and was one of the favorites coming into the next season for the Heisman Trophy. And now this year, it's got people still know about Lenoris and know what he's capable of, but I feel like it's returned to like a middle ground between big time star and unknown. He's somewhere in the middle there, and now it's kind of up to him this season, if he plays well, to get back to that star status. Because right now, I think he's a good football player, but I don't think he is a star right now, just based on what he did last year.
And I think that touchdown pass to Tyshawn Russell, when he had the touchdown run against Vanderbilt later on that year for 36 yards, when you kind of got to see his speed on display in a game for the first time, I think that stands out to a lot of people. But I always remember back to the Alabama game in 2024. Of course, that was a game they lost, and that was the game right before they went on, of course, their long winning streak. And that was one of the first times I remember him really ducking out of trouble. Right? And there was one play where he was backed up towards the goal line, would be sacked, ducks out of it, and he may have thrown it to Mazio or somebody down the sideline. And that was kind of one of those first instances that year of like, hey, wow, that was a play that shouldn't have worked, that he made work, that he continued to do over and over again, which, like, we knew what his abilities were, but that was kind of a next level of, hey, this guy's got some magic to him. And, of course, he did it over and over again that year and was a big reason why they were able to have so much success. And that kind of stands out to me as one of those first, like, wow plays for him that ended up kind of becoming a staple that year.
God, you remember his first start against Old Dominion, where it was just like he did not look like the quarterback that he became by the end of the year, where I think he had like 22 rushes in that game. Was just not making the right decisions, taking off and running at any given moment. And somehow South Carolina barely wins that game. I mean, that the difference between Lenoris and that game versus like now is kind of just drastic. And you could say the same thing about that Clemson game where he was running the ball a lot. I don't have how many carries he had in that game in front of me, but it felt like a lot in that Clemson game. But I think the difference was he kind of just had to, right? Yeah. There were times where he did not need to run in that Old Dominion game where he could have made some passes, but decided to run instead.
He had 16 carries in the Clemson game.
All right. I think it was 22 against Old Dominion, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, and some of those were on him, but there was also a lot of designed runs, too, because
true, yes.
I remember that Monday coming in, we're like, they're going to get this guy killed if he's carrying the ball 20-plus times every single game.
That's the discussion we had. I remember that. It was just, you run him like that every single time, he's going to get hurt. But, he took bigger hits later in the year and proved to be just fine. So that's the thing about him, man, is he's tough. And as long as he stays healthy, he gives you a fighting chance to win a football game. And hopefully now, with the things we've been hearing out of camp, out of these scrimmages, that he's getting better protection. The play calling, seemingly good so far. He's got help at wide receiver. I know he just lost his brother and Gibson as well, but he's got some guys in this offense, man. So I think all the pieces are there for him to put it together this year. But ultimately, at the end of the day, now it is really up to him to see if he could take that next step forward.
Well, and we know that same guy that had so much success 2 years ago is still in there. We just need to see it come back out again. Is there anything you can see in these first two games, the first 8 quarters of play, that says, hey, we're good now? Or is it, all right, I really got to see it in week number 3 and beyond to believe that Sellers is back to true form?
I would say the first 2 games, you just want to see it look good. I know it's not going to be against the best teams, but you just want to see this offense look good, I think, to give you a little bit of optimism. Then by week 3, it's like, all right, you really got to do it again. Replicate it. Show me that you can be good in this offense. Show me that you got the protection, the run game, everything going. And if you do after that Mississippi State game, I think the confidence is high heading into that Alabama game.
Like so many things with this team, I think it's a case of you can't feel completely relieved coming away from the first 2 games, but you can't feel really concerned, right? If Sellers is out there struggling, turning the ball over, not understanding the offense or whatever through the first 8 quarters of the season, we're going to know we're in for a long final 10 games. If he's out there putting up 400 yards and they're scoring 60 and 70 points, like, all right, That's what you're supposed to do. I need to see it against Mississippi State and other teams first, but we're on the right track.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be 500 yards of offense every single game. You'd like that, but I think if you get a good version of Lenoris those first 2 games, keep him healthy. And the thing is, you probably don't need him to play the entire game of those first 2 games. You're probably 8 quarters to start the year. You probably want him to play bare minimum, at most maybe 5-6 quarters. Sometime in the third quarter, you have him check out and let the other guys get in there. Cutter Woods get some work, some other guys. But, yeah, I know for sure. I mean, once you get to Mississippi State, it's like, all right, things pick up a little bit.
If you tell me Lenore Sellers stays healthy and doesn't have to play a single snap in the fourth quarter of either one of those games, we're on the right track. We're doing good.
That will mean the offense is doing its job.
Yes. And here's hoping that happens starting in 16 days against Kent State. Who's going to be available for that Kent State game? We got a little bit more confirmation on a couple of key players from Shane Beamer yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Thursday on the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
AC losing its chill? Just call OnCall Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your family can't wait when it comes to home comfort. That's why OnCall is available with 24/7 emergency response. With OnCall, you get trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Focused on fixing your issue, not upselling services you don't need. OnCall gets your system back up and running fast. For comfort you can count on. Trust OnCall Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Visit OnCallSC.com or call 803-781-HELP.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The back-to-school sale is now in session at iMart Express. Get 2 pairs for $79, including a free 1-year frame warranty, upgraded polycarbonate lenses, and same-day pickup. It's a $200 value for just $79, making it the kind of deal that gets an A+ from kids and parents. With styles they'll love at prices you will. Shop the back-to-school sale at iMart Express today and get 2 pairs for $79.
The Haven Harley-Davidson is turning up the heat. Bike night on Friday, August 28th from 5 to 8 with live music and food. Cooler days ahead on Saturday, noon to 3. Register to win an outdoor bundle with a cooler and folding chair. Harley's Angels will be serving free soda and water. Plus, get $1,000 customer cash on select 2026 Lowrider S and Lowrider ST models. Take a test ride and get a free limited edition flag. Discover more at 866-768-5095 or thehavenharley.com.
The R&B Tour, starring Usher Raymond and Chris Brown. The tour everyone's talking about. Over 2 million tickets sold and counting. Chris Brown and Usher Raymond, uniting 2 of R&B's defining hitmakers. 2 legendary artists, 1 stage. You have to see it for yourself. Williams-Brice Stadium, October 29th. Get tickets Monday, August 24th at 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
If mosquitoes are ruining your evenings outside, it's time to call Modern Exterminating. Hi, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Glenn from Modern Exterminating. We're local, family-owned, and we've been protecting South Carolina homes since 1955.
Our mosquito reduction service helps you enjoy your backyard again without constantly swatting, spraying, or running inside.
Whether it's cookouts, kids playing, or relaxing on the porch, we'll help you take back your yard.
Contact Modern Exterminating at pestfreesc.com.
Modern Exterminating, protection that feels simple.
Discover the Griffin difference. Turn these scorching summer days into unforgettable memories with a beautiful custom pool from Griffin Pools and Spas. Whether it's family fun, weekend cookouts, or relaxing after a long day, your dream backyard starts with us. Stop sweating through another summer and start making a splash in your own backyard. Call Griffin Pools and Spas today and let us build the backyard you've always imagined.
Griffin Pools and Spas, we make you feel good.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Thursday on the Game. Just a little over 2 weeks away from the season starting for South Carolina against Kent State, though looks like two of the key players we've been talking about a lot this offseason won't be available, at least to start the year. Chris Lowe of On3 spoke to Coach Beamer yesterday and was at practice as well, I believe, and puts out the article last night. South Carolina is unlikely to open the season with pass rusher Dylan Stewart or tackle Jacarius Peak. Coach Beamer would tell him, neither are long-term injuries. They're going to play and want to play. I just don't know that it's realistic to think they will be back for the start of the season. And look, technically, Jack, this is a headline. It's a very unsurprising headline, but this is the first time that Beamer has actually acknowledged that these guys probably aren't going to actually play, at least in week number one.
Gee, I wonder what changed between Tuesday and yesterday to give that answer.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why couldn't he have said this to you guys, 24 hours earlier?
I don't know. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. It's not a surprise, honestly, that this is the case where look at the first two games of the year. I mean, I think anyone that has paid a lick of attention to what's been going on probably understood that, yeah, these guys aren't practicing yet, and we are a little over 2 weeks away from the start of week one on September 5th. I mean, sure, if they started practicing right now, would they be ready to go for the start of the season? Yeah, probably, but they're not. That's the thing. They're not. So at this point, it's kind of just more and more unlikely that they're going to be ready to go for the start of the year. And honestly, I think that's okay, because look at the first two games of the year. You've got Kent State, September 5th, and then September 12th, you got Towson coming to town. Now, I had someone in my Twitter comments yesterday saying, like, man, you guys never learn. Like, remember the Citadel game and these players were out or whatever? And it's like, that was a completely different team. First off, I mean, that was long before either of us were on the beat, Tyler. But that 2015 Citadel game, South Carolina was just treading in the wrong direction at this point. We're talking about a brand new season here where South Carolina should be a lot better than last year. And quite frankly, I don't think you need Peak or Stewart out there to win the football game. You've got other guys in this team. You've got depth at those spots. I think this is an opportunity to give some other guys a chance to play. Like maybe a Darius Gray. Does he crack the starting lineup now that Peak will likely be out for definitely probably week one, but maybe week two as well? Does that give him an opportunity to play? What about the edge spot? I mean, he probably is one of the starters, but who fills that other spot? Is it like an Anthony Addison, for instance? Is it a Julian Walker? That just gives guys opportunities to play. And when Peak and Stewart are back, they insert right into the starting lineup. and your team becomes a lot better because of that.
Yeah, and to the point of the person who tweeted that at you, there's a difference between having these guys healthy and just saying, we're just not going to play, and we don't need these guys to beat Kent State and Towson. And these two guys both recovering from significant injuries where you're saying, all right, we're going to take our chances by saying we can survive without these guys for a week or two on the hope that they're more ready to go and at a higher rate of health by the time the games that really count come around in week number 3. Is it possible that Carolina could be in a dogfight with Kent State? Sure. Are they suddenly going to bring Jacarius Peak and Dylan Stewart off the bench because of that? I don't know. But again, we're going off the assumption that you hopefully can manage the first. And he's saying the beginning of the season, didn't definitively say the first 2 games, but we can assume, okay, if you're not good enough for week number 1 against Kent State, may as well go ahead and, not take your chances in week 2 against Towson and, again, give them more time to get healthy. And, again, we think they should be fine without it. Now, the con to this is reps. Right? And look, both these guys have played a good amount of college football to this point, so it's not like they're coming in as true freshmen and being thrown right into the fire once they're healthy and ready to go. But especially for Jacarius Peak, playing on the offensive line with 4 other dudes you've never played with before in your entire career, continuity matters, right? And if you could have gotten him out there for 20 or 30 snaps in game number 1 and game number 2, that would have gone a long way. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to have that. Again, game number 2 not confirmed or not, but you are kind of throwing him out there with a bunch of dudes he's not as familiar with in that Mississippi State game, more likely than not, and I do wonder how that will affect him.
But I think also, isn't that what practice is partially for?
True.
Like, you can get reps in practice in that way as well. So I think it's not the biggest deal. Like, yeah, it may take a little bit more time just to get kind of back into the swing of things once you're in a game situation. But, I mean, look, these guys are going to go through practice. They're going to have game or practice reps before playing a game. South Carolina's not just going to throw those guys out there into the fire without caution. Like, they're going to get practice reps, and then they'll be in the game. And then we'll see. Maybe they have a bit of a snap count. But the important thing is it's fine to have them rest and continue to work their way back. You don't want to set September 5th as a hard deadline for those guys to return. Give them as much time as they need. I will say, though, less than a month from now is that first SEC game on September 19th at home against Mississippi State. That's ideally when you would like those guys back for sure. So I think having a month to get ready for that, to get back, I feel like that's very doable, especially since Beamer said these are not long-term injuries and then they'll be back sooner rather than later.
And like you said, these guys shouldn't be out super long. And look, if you're playing Miami in week number 1, maybe this is different and maybe both these guys do end up playing. Who can you survive the longest without? Between Dylan Stewart and Jacarius Peak, if you had to go deep into the season without one of these guys, who would you choose?
I think if you had to go without one of these guys,
yes,
I think probably you could last longer without. I don't even know. It's a good question. You'd rather have Stewart back sooner rather than later, I would say, just because I think you can last a little bit longer without Peak, because I think there is something on this offensive line. Like Peak was brought in to be the guy on this offensive line and help it, but they're doing pretty well blocking right now without him from all indications. But with Stewart, it's like he's a game changer, man. Like, I'm not saying Peak can't be a game changer, but I think there's a difference between just blocking up front on the offensive line and being a guy on the defense that gets into the backfield almost every single time. Having a guy like Stewart, I mean, I think there's only one Dylan Stewart on this team. And, if he's not out there, the edge room is still good, but it's like there's no Dylan Stewart in that room that I see right now. So maybe that'll change, who knows? But I think having Dylan Stewart back sooner rather than later would be a big deal. The offensive line, I think you can live without Peak for as long as you need to, but you want him back at some point as well.
See, I think about it in the opposite sense because while, yes, nobody else in that edge room is Dylan Stewart, I think you're decent enough there to where you can still be productive even if Stewart's not out there, for a couple games or whatever it may be, where there's a reason why the peak, getting the transfer portal is so big, because we kind of look at him as like the straw that stirs the drink for this offensive line, playing the most important position on the O-line there at left tackle, where I feel like he's somebody that you're going to want back sooner than Stewart, just because of how important that position is and the job that he's going to be doing, A, protecting Sellers, and B, kind of leading that offensive line the way that we think he can.
Yeah, very important to have those guys back at some point, though. Again, you have less than a month until that first SEC game. That, I think, to us, man, I think that's really when the season begins through our eyes, because it's like those first two games, you should win without them. No problem. We'll see. Even if it gets a little tricky, you should win those games. And then September 19th, you want those guys out there if at all possible.
Again, per Chris Lowe yesterday of On 3, Shane Beamer telling him that they are unlikely to start the season. No exact timetable on return. We'll see if Beamer elaborates on that next time we hear from him coming up next week. Speaking of returning, former NFL players returning to college. We'll tell you about it coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Thursday here on The Game.
The Game Summer Golf Classic, sponsored by White Brown Smiles, is coming Friday, August 28th at the Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The Golf Gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, knock down a hole-in-one and win a vehicle from Pound Automotive Group. Play the Vegas hole sponsored by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event, sponsored by White Brown Smiles, on Friday, August 28th.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
You've seen them, the giant out-of-state law firms talking about how big they supposedly are. Give me a break. I'm Michael Jeffcoat. After a bad wreck, put me to work to maximize your recovery. Call 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit T2TRun.org.
With Kohl's back-to-school sale, kids get styles that say, I'm so back. And you get savings that say, I'm so good at this. Save up to 40% on school essentials. Plus, shop in-store this weekend for your chance to get up to $100 instant Kohl's cash. Back-to-school confidence runs in the family. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. Offers end August 23rd. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Looking for a place to catch the game or throw a great party? Westco Brew and Bowl's got you covered. It's tucked into the old Piggly Wiggly on Charleston Highway, minutes from campus. Beer garden seating for 200, 75-plus TVs, 2 bars, bowling, darts, an arcade, and wings, burgers, tacos, and pizza to go around. Birthdays, corporate get-togethers, retirement celebrations. Westco offers multiple event rooms, and you can even book the whole venue. Westco Brew and Bowl. Come as you are. Let's play.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler-Brown. Are you concerned about aging parents? Our life care planning services address legal, financial, and care concerns. Whether you want to be proactive or you're in the middle of navigating care, let us help you help them. You aren't alone in this. Visit lawyerlisa.com/care to see how our planning can help your family.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Right now, somewhere in America, a student is training, a student is studying, a student is working when nobody is watching. Not for recognition, not for attention, but because excellence is a habit. The 2026 Patriot Games are searching for exceptional students ages 14 to 17. Students ready to compete, ready to lead, ready to show America what they're capable of. $250,000 scholarship prize pool. Applications are open now. Your story, your opportunity, your moment. Applications now open. Freedom250.org. America's next champion could be you.
For digital marketing that works, you need local expertise and national scale. Cumulus Digital provides hometown teams fueled by national support, serving over 4,000 businesses a month. Go to cumulusdigital.com. A short form is all it takes to get started.
You've seen them, the giant out-of-state law firms talking about how big they supposedly are. Give me a break. I'm Michael Jeffcoat. After a bad wreck, put me to work to maximize your recovery. Call 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Thursday here on the Game. Just when you think college football can't get any more chaotic, another ruling from a judge comes down, and, well, that opens up a whole new can of worms. And that's exactly what happened late yesterday when a Louisiana judge granted a temporary restraining order to 30 college athletes, 16 of which being college football players, from the class of 2022, which opened the door for more of them to return to college. Of course, earlier on this summer, the NCAA instituted its 5-and-5 rule, which did not grandfather in the class of 2022, where most of those players had just run out of eligibility. As expected, a lot of lawsuits have come out of this, and this being the latest example with TROs allowing a certain list of these players to return to college. The one caveat with this one being a lot of these guys, including South Carolina's DQ Smith, have been on NFL rosters or at least played in preseason games in the past week, now have opportunities to return to college. Jack Pyburn with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a former LSU linebacker, another one of them as well included in this, as we just keep going further and further down the path of who's allowed to come back to college and who's not.
Playing an NFL preseason game one day and then the next they are allowed to come back to college. It's absolutely nuts. I just saw something this morning that doesn't have to do with these guys, but I saw there's a guy that was in the class of 2027 with high school, and he's reclassifying this week after playing in some scrimmages with his high school team. He's reclassifying to join Texas A&M now and be ready for the start of the year. So it's like, what are the rules with eligibility in college football? It just feels like anyone can play. You and I could be eligible for all we know, Tyler. I mean, that's just the way it feels. With DQ Smith, I'm sure a lot of people's first question here is he going to join the team? And what we've reported on Gamecock Central, Chris put out a note yesterday on the Insiders Forum. And from what we're told, there aren't any current plans to bring DQ back. Things can always change, but yeah, it looks like if DQ is going to be playing college football for a fifth season, doesn't look like it's necessarily going to come at South Carolina.
And that's one thing to remember with this as well, because with these multiple TROs that have happened over the summer so far, most of the guys that have returned to college do return to their former teams. We saw multiple guys go back to Indiana that were part of this TRO from the Judge Sweeney a couple of months ago. But I mean, just like any transfer, you can also find a home somewhere else. So, people don't want to hear this, but if DQ Smith can find a spot on Florida's roster, we can go to Florida, right? And again, we're not legal experts by any means. Mitt Winter, who's a sports law attorney from Kansas City, is going to join us coming up in an hour at 10:30 to help us along with this process and fully understand what exactly all this means and what the future of this could be with this latest TRO. But it's interesting because Coach Beamer was asked about this a week or two ago of, hey, are you looking at any class of 2022 guys rejoining the team? And he did say, they've had conversations about it, but they didn't have any plans to do that at this point in time. And it is significant because about a week and a half ago, Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, did send out kind of a memo to all the teams across the conference in wake of all of these TROs and things like that, which opened the door for these guys from that class to return to college football, basically saying, hey, I know what's going on. Follow NCAA guidelines when it comes to eligibility. That's probably going to be in your best interest, because here's the thing, much like we saw with Charles Bediako back in the springtime with the whole Alabama thing in basketball, this can get revoked quickly, right? So let's say DQ Smith was allowed to return to South Carolina. They brought him back in to play safety once again. And then 3 weeks into the season, this gets overturned or something goes the other way with this litigation, and now suddenly you can't have him on the team anymore. Then the question becomes of, okay, are you going to be penalized for playing him in 3 games where he shouldn't have been playing? And it opens up a whole nother can of worms. And the commissioner of the conference is trying to keep teams in the SEC from getting into that kind of mess as much as possible. Will they listen to him? We'll see. But again, this takes a further layer to it, because now you're talking about guys, because DQ Smith was with the Broncos for a cup of coffee in the offseason, guys that had signed NFL deals, whether it be draft or free agent or whatever, some of them playing in preseason games right now, that now have the opportunity to come back and rejoin college teams.
And if you're playing in the preseason, like, unless you know you're going to get cut, why leave the NFL to go back to college?
Money.
Money, yeah, I guess.
You're making league minimum as a guy, which I don't like. If you're not on the 53-man roster yet, you're not even making league minimum. I don't know what you're getting paid if you're just going through the preseason. But DQ Smith can come back to college and make more money as a starting safety than he could trying to be a practice squad guy in the NFL. So I understand it. But again, it's not a guarantee that your team's going to have a spot waiting for you.
And here's the thing. I think things would be different if South Carolina had an obvious hole in the secondary, but they don't, right? They're pretty much set from a secondary standpoint. Peyton Williams is going to be starting at one of the safety spots. It's likely either going to be David Busey or Jazavian Currents at the other safety spot. You're going to be set at nickel with Quaysheed Scott or Gerald Kilgore. And then DB, Shane Beamer already basically confirmed it the other day that Vakari Swain and Judge Collier will be starting at DB. So there's really not a spot for DQ. And I think that has a lot to do with why you wouldn't bring him back. Like, yeah, he's a 4-year starter and has a lot of experience and whatnot, but you'd be bringing him back to bench someone in the safety room. I don't think that makes a lot of sense, especially when he hasn't even been with the team since November last year. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen with DQ? Hopefully, if he goes back to college, he ends up somewhere and gets a chance to play. Maybe he even has a better season. And can you turn that into, because I don't know what the process would be. I guess he could go through the draft again, technically. Like, I don't know.
So since they've already gone through the draft process, I don't believe they would go through it again. I can't confirm this. I think they would essentially, if they played another year of college, just kind of go back into the free agent market in the NFL. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think you can go through the draft process twice.
Yeah, so that would make sense, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I just don't think it makes sense to bring him back right now, especially when, like I said, I think you're in pretty good shape with the secondary.
Yeah, and I have not seen anybody from this, TRO yesterday that is officially committed anywhere as of yet. I'm sure we'll get some of that here in the next couple of days. But again, you're taking it another level deeper when it comes to guys that were on NFL rosters, at least at some point this year, like DQ Smith, that now have this opportunity to come back for however long. Again, it's TRO, doesn't guarantee it's going to be locked in forever, and we'll see how much that changes as we get into the start of the college football season. Again, Mitt Winter, sports law attorney, going to join us at 10:30 to help clarify a lot of this for us, because we're not legal experts by any means, and he'll try and answer some of those questions coming up in the next hour, because we need
There's a lot of questions, man.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll come back and wrap up hour number one. Lenore Sellers' class schedule, or lack thereof, is getting a lot of attention from college football Twitter. We'll discuss it coming up on the other side. Wrap up the hour. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack with you on your Thursday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and star defensive tackle Vita Vea have agreed to a lucrative one-year, $30 million contract extension, officially ending his training camp hold-in. The new deal guarantees Vea $48 million over the next 2 seasons and includes a $6 million pay bump for his upcoming year. By locking up their defensive anchor, I think the Bucs will win the South. I'm Drake Toll.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-746-1744. 800-746-1744. 800-746-1744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at StraightTalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
With Kohl's back-to-school sale, kids get styles that say, I'm so back. And you get savings that say, I'm so good at this. Save up to 40% on school essentials. Plus, shop in-store this weekend for your chance to get up to $100 instant Kohl's Cash. Back-to-school confidence runs in the family. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. Offers end August 23rd. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri wrapping up hour number 1 here on your Thursday on the Game. Coming up at 10 o'clock, Chris Clark's conversation with Caleb Herring, transfer edge rusher from Tennessee. For the first couple segments, the 10 o'clock hour, and then Winter again going to join us coming up at 10:30 to help us understand this latest TRO when it comes to the class of 2022. Before we get into the Sellers thing, real quick, Jack, we were talking earlier about staff picks getting started soon and that we needed some kind of reward system for the winner. Jeff said that we need a winner and a loser hat, and at the end of each season, the winner and the loser, first and last, I guess, would end up having to wear them either on air or at your respective job at GC or whatever as a form of reward and punishment.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Can you imagine Mike Yuva having to wear a loser hat at Coastal for the whole day?
Now, is he still involved in staff picks this year?
I gotta check with him. I gotta see if he I gotta see if he wants to. But this is an open invitation for Mike Yuva to come back and do staff picks if he so desires. He did it with us all of last year, and he's still a good friend of our site. So I would be happy to have him back with us to do it again.
We would need a very embarrassing hat for last place.
Oh yeah. Or Terry, if didn't Terry finish in last place last year?
Yeah, I think he went from the penthouse to the outhouse because I think he was first the year before. I think he was last year.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to do something now. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. Like, I don't think it needs to be like how you do fantasy football punishments, but just something like a little gaff or something, just something funny.
No, one of us the loser needs to broadcast or do all of your writing from a Waffle House for 24 hours, and every waffle you eat takes an hour off. That's what we need to do for the loser.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny, man. Oh my gosh.
One of my favorite fantasy football punishments. Yesterday, Lenora Sellers became a hot topic around college football for how he's going to be spending this semester in college. He details what he'll be doing here.
Got a couple off-topic questions for you. With your degree, are you pretty close to finishing that up? Or?
Yeah, so I'm done with all my classes. I just got my internship this semester, so that's all I'm doing.
Okay, what is your internship here?
I'm doing party, just facility management, stuff like that, cutting grass, picking up balls, little stuff like that.
Jack, people lost their freaking minds on this yesterday. I guess it's hard for people to comprehend, maybe people that didn't go to college, that some people actually spend an entire semester only doing an internship, which is what Lenora Sellers is doing.
So, and here's the way I understand that it works. So, sport and entertainment management majors need to do an internship at some point in college. And the way some of these internships can work, it counts for class credit. So, and look, he only has 6 credit hours remaining. So he's on track to graduate. He's done all his classes and whatnot. As Wes put it yesterday in his headline for one of these stories, because it feels like every media outlet did a story to clarify this stuff after Gamecock 247 with Hale McGranahan put out the initial story that led to this thing catching fire. No, Lenora Sellers isn't skipping school. He's 6 hours from a degree and set to graduate in December. That's what Wes put in his headline. I kind of worry about everyone's reading comprehension because everyone's freaking out thinking this guy is just not going to school. He's cutting grass and going to the driving range, maybe even playing 18. He's on track to graduate and do his thing.
There's definitely somebody in Kentucky right now. Like, hear about that South Carolina quarterback? He don't even go to class. They just make him pick up golf balls all day. That's all he's ever done for 3.5 years now. Like, no, sir, that's not how this works.
Yeah, not how it works at all. So, but that's a pretty cool internship, though. I mean,
that is. I mean,
the
that's
grass
neat.
and whatnot. And it's at the Party Golf Center. I love Party. I think it's very chill, very laid back, and it's a good time over there. It's a nice, easy, accessible driving range.
Well, you know what that also tells me? That he's not going to have too many things that are going to take his mind off football either this fall, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? Golf's a good stress reliever. We know he's gotten really into golf these past couple of years. Apparently, and I think Beamer mentioned this at the Breweries with Beamer the other week. He's been winning a lot in golf. Hopefully that translates to the field.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Was there ever a time where you did something like this in college? Where I feel like this is not the only case where this has happened. Where because I remember my senior year, I had to come back for one extra semester to graduate, and I didn't have to take like a full slate of, because I think it's like 3 credit hours per class. Like I didn't need to come back and take 15 credit hours. I only had to take one class, and it was kind of like an internship, but we didn't need an internship to graduate. It was, you had to go through this capstone course called senior semester, where you're essentially like learning what it's like to be in a newsroom from 9 to 5 every single day. And you're with the rest of these seniors, and now it's juniors at USC that do this. I don't know why they don't call it junior semester. But basically, you're going and learning what it's like to be in a newsroom for a semester. And that was the only thing I did my last semester of college.
Yeah, we had something similar at Georgia called News Source, which, again, was basically like a 9 to 5 news station that we ran out of our journalism school. I was already working at the local radio station prior to my senior year. So when I got to, I think it was my last semester, like, hey, you still got to satisfy this internship credit. I just kind of went to my PD and I was like, hey, can this count as my internship? And he's like, yeah, basically. So I was just doing the job I was already doing, and it counted as an internship. So that's kind of how I did mine. I did one after I graduated, too, with the Georgia Association of Broadcasters, just for career advancement, basically. That didn't end up really leading into anything. But technically, I did 2 internships, but only one. I only needed one to satisfy my, credits for graduating.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't remember. Besides that, I mean, I think every other semester I was taking a full slate of credit hours. But yeah, so I kind of understand. But look, he's on track to graduate. That's the important thing. He's already gotten his credit hours out of the way. That's the case.
Yeah. Hey, more power to him. Enjoy the ride while you can, Illinois. Certainly so, and hopefully that means good success on the football field. Chris Clark's conversation with Caleb Herring coming up next in the 10 o'clock hour. We'll talk with Mitt Winter of a sports law attorney at 10:30 as well. So we get into the Garnet Trust Hour coming up next here on The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
All right, everyone, as we close out the first hour here, let me tell you guys about AAA Heating and Air, where home comfort is their top priority. Give a call today at 803-677-1500 to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of special extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. So go to callAAAtoday.com for more info. Again, that is callAAAtoday.com for more info. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you on over.
Snooze button or choose button? $5 deals at McDonald's give you options. Start your day with the $5 Sausage McMuffin with Egg Extra Value Meal. Or mix and match 2 for $5 and choose your favorites, like a savory hot Sausage McMuffin with egg or a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles with that sweet taste of maple. Yum! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price. Promotional pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
The Haven Harley-Davidson is turning up the heat. Bike night on Friday, August 28th from 5 to 8 with live music and food. Cooler days ahead on Saturday, noon to 3. Register to win an outdoor bundle with a cooler and folding chair. Harley's Angels will be serving free soda and water. Plus, get $1,000 customer cash on select 2026 Lowrider S and Lowrider ST models. Take a test ride and get a free limited edition flag. Discover more at 866-768-5095 or thehavenharley.com.
Sweet, $50. Who are you, and why do you have that guitar?
Now you want that $50. There's something you should know. The people in your life, the things they require will grow and grow and grow. There's your friend that wants you to buy him chips. Your cousin Nate who wants extra drip. Your aunt who'd love a titanium hip. Your dad with a house.
The South Carolina Education Lottery, where the fun goes on and on and on.
Hey Gamecock, Scott here with Gamecock Traditions. Our Nike launch was a huge success, but that was just the beginning. We've already replenished our best sellers and continue to add new and exclusive Gamecock merchandise you won't find at other Gamecock stores. Shop in store or online at GamecockTraditions.com, where your orders typically pulled and shipped within 24 to 48 hours. Gamecock Traditions and Nike teaming up to make this football season one to remember. Gamecock Traditions. For Gamecocks, by Gamecocks, we're Gamecocks too.
At Herndon Chevrolet, there's no need to wait a week for service. Our full team of technicians is ready to get your vehicle checked the same day. From oil changes to major repairs, we're here to keep you moving with expert care you can count on every time. Fast appointments, trusted repairs, convenient service, and a friendly team ready to help you. Only at Herndon Chevrolet.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 16 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Oh, wow! With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central. On 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. The 107.5 The Game app and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome in, everyone. It's the Garnet Trust Hour here on The Game, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Chris Clark hanging out with you for the next little while. Joined by another special guest from the Gamecock football program. It's Caleb Herring. Caleb, what's up, man? Good to have you. Appreciate you making time.
What's up? Yeah, thank you for making the time for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. I've been looking forward to it for a while, so appreciate you again, you making time, especially right here in the middle of preseason camp. And we're going to talk about that. We got a lot of football to talk about. We'll get to that. But first things first, man, I think a lot of the fans that'll be listening to this maybe haven't heard from you yet, don't really know your story, don't really know who you are. So just, football stuff aside, just tell us a little bit about you, like background, where you grew up, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Newnan, Georgia. I lived there for about 11 years or so. And I mean, my dad, he ended up getting like a job, and like the job ended up like moving us around a good bit. So, man, I'll say I was in like 6th grade the first time I moved. So we ended up moving to Ohio, and then stayed there for like 2 months, moved back to Georgia for a little bit, finished that off, and then went up after my 6th grade year, went up moving. So it was a good bit of moving, but we moved around for quite a bit, and I say in about 2010 2018-ish, I ended up moving to Tennessee. And I would say Tennessee was probably like the best decision I made, like whenever it came to like moving around and stuff, because like my mom, she actually got tired of moving around so much. So she was like, man, like we love it here in Tennessee. The boys, they're actually getting opportunities here. And shoot, from there, like that's when, you know, football and stuff like first started blowing up and stuff for me, because like my whole life I really just played baseball. I was a huge baseball guy. Played all the way up until 9th grade, and shoot, 9th grade, that's when I got my first football offer. Ended up getting hurt in baseball, and since then I just stuck to football, and it's been up from there. So
it certainly has. Yeah, I actually didn't know that about baseball. What did you play?
Center field.
Center field. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's your MLB team?
Braves. Oh,
there you go. Okay. I should have known. I should have known growing up in Noonan. All right, we're all Braves people here as well, so that's good stuff, man. So from a football standpoint, so you mentioned you were big on baseball. Like, when did you start playing football? Did you kind of dabble in it? Like, did you play Pee Wee, Pop Warner? Like, did you start in high school? When did you pick it up?
So I didn't start playing football. I would say really started playing football until 9th grade, because 7th grade year, I didn't even step on the field. I just on the sidelines. 8th grade year, I was okay. I got defensive player of the year, but like I was just getting my feet wet. Really wasn't doing much. I was just getting a lot of tackles. And then my 9th grade year, that's when everything started coming together. I finished my 9th grade year. Mind you, I didn't even play varsity. I just played straight freshman ball, and next thing you know, after my freshman year, that's when I got my first. I got like maybe 4 my freshman year, and then from there, that's when my journey to football really started growing. Because I mean, I knew like after that, I was like, I knew I can go somewhere with it. So
yeah. Well, did it take getting? I always like to ask guys this. Did it take like getting that first offer for you to realize like, oh, shoot, I got a chance to go to college and get on scholarship and play big time football? Or did you already have people tell you before then, like, hey, Caleb, like, you got a chance to go play in college? What was that part like for you?
So I would say it was more of like my brother, Elijah Heron. Like I saw him like getting offers and stuff, because at first I really didn't know how it worked. I just thought you just go into a facility and you just try for a team, and so you just make your team from there. But it was actually just seeing my brother get his offers. He got his offers after his 9th grade season 2, and his first offers were like Vanderbilt and Kentucky, and like seeing him get those offers, I was like, yeah, shoot, like I mean I can get those offers. Then I kind of built a connection through those, like through that relationship of my brother and those coaches, and yeah, shoot, from there, like I say that's what helped me get those offers. And the crazy thing is, so my first football account was at South Carolina. This was in 8th grade.
Really? Okay.
And it really angled. Like, it wasn't too good. I didn't know what was going on. There was a lot going on. I had to do one-on-ones and went terrible. And I went for DV, but yeah, it was just all over the place. And just seeing where I am now here at South Carolina is crazy. So
that's absolutely wild. I'm gonna have to go through, because that would have been, I don't know what year that would have been. I'm not gonna try to do math here on the air, but
that's like 2018.
2018. I cover all the camps, so it might be if I go back in my camera roll from back in the day, I might be, look, there's a little Caleb Herring trying to play DB in camp.
It was bad.
What size were you then in 8th grade?
At the time, yeah, I was still tall. I was like 6'2",
Okay.
6'2", and like 160.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you never know, man. Like, so Brian Thomas, who played here last year before you got here, Brian Thomas Jr., turned into a really good player. And I remember when he came to camp, and he worked out as an edge, and he got his offer, he earned it and everything, but he told me years later that he was 195 pounds, playing edge. So that's pretty small for an edge. And he turned into 250 plus. He's on the Jags roster now, like he's doing well. So you never know where the growth in football will take you. So you mentioned your brother. Who's the better player, you or your brother?
I'm not gonna lie, I've always given it to him.
Okay.
I've always given it to him. I'm not gonna lie. But if you asked him, he'll probably say me. But it's always been like that type of connection. Like we'll compete every now and then. I remember back in high school when we played against each other, like we'll talk trash to each other and stuff. They see we get more sacks, but like whenever that questions come around, it's either like you ask me, I say him, and then you ask him, he'll say me. So
I got you. So when you came out of high school, let's look back on recruiting. You were, the number one player in the state of Tennessee coming out, number one prospect, I think. And, signed with Tennessee, had a whole bunch of offers, and you get there. What was the high school recruiting process compared to the portal recruiting process, right? To me, it seems like portal a lot faster. There's not time to really do a lot of, lollygagging around. Like you gotta make some stuff happen. But how are those two processes if you could just compare them?
Man, I would say, so the portal is almost like the end of your recruit. Like, it's like the end of your high school recruiting process. And, man, it's just like you got coaches calling you left and right. It's kind of, like, it's a blessing, yes. But, man, it's just like it kind of gets stressful. And then I would say, like, when it came to making my decision now, it's crazy. Like, South Carolina, they didn't come until like the very last week, which was, it's crazy to think about. And I remember it was like schools like Miami, Texas, Ole Miss. It was a list of schools reaching out to me. But when I got that call from Coach Beamer, he was like, man, we got to get you here. We just brought in Coach Barnes, then Coach White. Like, he's already been there. He's been there for a minute. I've been knowing Coach Barnes. I'm not Coach Barnes, but Coach White since my freshman year of high school. So, just getting that call from Coach Beamer and then coming to check out the campus and everything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to, get the experience that I got. And shoot, like once I got to, sit down with Coach Barnes, he broke down the defense. Broke down like his coaching history and stuff. That made me fall in love with this program, and just seeing the guys that he's helped develop too in such a quick time, like it's helped like that would really like push me to really come here. And a lot of people they bring up Dylan too, like with him he's going to end up coming back, and people just saying like he's going to get a lot of attention, like. Yes, that played a role in it, but just seeing how Coach Barnes developed his players, like that was probably my biggest role into, coming here.
All right, good stuff, Caleb. So we're going to take a quick timeout, come back on the other side, and definitely want to ask you about your development as a player, from freshman year of college until where you are now, and we'll get a lot more into some football stuff. So you're listening to the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krentz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Be right back with more with Caleb Herring.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We love to hear your opinion. Go to @1075 The Game on Twitter X and participate in our polls. Our Twitter X polls sponsored by IntelliSystems. Schedule a cyber audit today at IntelliSystems.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hear that? That's Alka-Seltzer, the sound of fast heartburn relief. Because when heartburn hits, you want something that works fast. Quick! Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets start neutralizing stomach acid in seconds. So nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Next time when that burning feeling comes on strong, don't wait. Quick! Alka-Seltzer. Try Alka-Seltzer. Use as directed.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Are you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue? Getting passed around to people who can't help? Or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
If you have nagging arthritis pain that won't go away and nothing seems to help, you may need to consider joint replacement, and that can be a little unsettling. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we understand and can help put your mind at ease. Our experienced orthopedic surgeons and advanced technology enable our team to deliver consistently excellent joint replacement outcomes with no hospital stay and lower cost to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
The new Smokin' Honey Melts are here at Firehouse Subs. They were founded by firefighters, so when they make a new melt, they build it right. Melty, toasty, and packed with prime rib or grilled chicken breast, then drizzle with the new Smokin' Honey Chipotle sauce. Sweet, smoky, built right. It takes a Firehouse kitchen to make a melt this good. Try the new Smokin' Honey Melts today, only at Firehouse Subs, at participating U.S. restaurants.
There's nothing like a Saturday at Williams-Brice Stadium. The roar of the crowd, towels waving, the lights flashing after a Carolina touchdown. You just can't experience it staying at home. So catch a game and join us at Williams-Brice this season. Single game tickets are on sale now with special discounts available for first responders, teachers, military members, and more. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/FB2026 to learn more. That's GamecocksOnline.com/FB2026.
Don't take chances with your plumbing. Trust the professionals at On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. From dripping faucets and leaking pipes to water heaters that stop working, one call handles it all. At On-Call, you get trained technicians, not trained salespeople, focused on solving your problem, not selling you something you don't need. Our team arrives on time, fully equipped and ready to fix it fast. For reliable service you can count on, make the right call. On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air at 803-781-HELP or OnCallSC.com.
And now, a no-frills ad sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It's the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Chris Clark hanging out with Gamecock football edge Caleb Herring. And Caleb, last segment there, we were just talking about your transfer portal process and, why you picked the Gamecocks, getting the call from Beamer, knowing Coach White for a while, being impressed with Coach Deion Barnes' track record. But let's look back on, we'll look into the future here shortly and kind of where you're going. But from your time as a freshman in college, there's an adjustment for everybody, right? Going from high school ball to the SEC. Year one, kind of getting the welcome to the SEC moment, and then developing over time. But how different do you feel now, being that you played college football for multiple years compared to where you were when you got to Knoxville as a freshman?
So I would say the freshman year was more of I was just out there playing for real. I knew the plays and stuff, but I was just out there playing, really didn't break the game down and stuff. And then plus I was behind like two high caliber players, and James Pierce and Josh Josephs. And then I remember I wanted to redshirt my freshman year because I knew they were gonna be there for a little bit more time. And I remember I went into the office, asked coaches if I could redshirt, and ended up getting cussed out. And it was like, "No, you're playing." And then my sophomore year, it was more of like I'm not gonna lie, it was a little frustrating because I came off a good spring ball, a good fall camp, and man, I was just like hoping, I hoping that was like that breakout year, and like man, like I would say like I was developing, like my development was like high, like I was doing good in the weight room, doing things necessary to keep my body healthy and stuff, but I was sitting behind those two same guys, and Josh Josephs and James Pierce, and I'm not gonna lie, like yes, I was still practicing hard, and I was still game planning and stuff, but I was just in my head all the time and stuff. Like whenever I got in, I would just be in my head. Like if I mess up there, take me out. But no, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little frustrating. But going into my junior year, like I felt like it was that time, like the time to take that next step, because James was going, and shoot, like I knew I was gonna get a lot more reps, so I went into that year, really feeling good, and I felt like I played really good last year, my junior year, and I said like the first half of the season, like I feel like I really showed what I could do, and like me as a player, and like me making plays, me being a game changer, and then I say second half of the season I kind of dialed out, but towards the end I started to get back in that groove, so I feel like, just really developing over time and just getting getting that experience in, that's really helped a lot, especially now when it comes to, being here at South Carolina. Like the game has slowed down. Like I'm reading keys. I'm really anticipating, plays, what's about to come. And I feel like under Coach Barnes too, like he's really helped get the best out of me so far. Cause Tennessee, like there was some good coaches, great coaches, but I really feel like with Coach Barnes, he's actually pushed me to be the best version of myself, not just on the field, but off the field as well, and things I could build on. And yeah, he's really helps a lot whenever it comes to, just developing as a player and a man off the field too. So yeah, I'm excited for this season.
Well, I think, man, one of the things that we have heard about you, putting you on the spot here, is that you have done a really good job since you've been here at setting the edge and playing the run, right? And like I think everybody knew that you could rush the passer. I mean, you mentioned your time at Tennessee. I think, what was that, last year you had 2 sacks against Georgia, 2 sacks against Mississippi State. Like you clearly have pass rush juice and ability, but playing the run I think is something that people kind of don't think about as much with like a defensive end as an edge. But what have been your thoughts on how you've improved that part of your game, and how have you been able to do that?
Really just, like I remember during, like before, after spring ball, like Coach Barnes, he's told me like, yeah, my run game is good, but it can always be better. So remember after spring ball, it would just be me and him, and sometimes we'll get like, Ant, Julian, Quaydai, all of them, just do like some, little things off the field, just like hand placement, just trying to be consistent with hand placement, tearing off a block. So we just working little things like that. Things, we could not just doing the things necessary, but just doing extra too. But little things like that, that's what's helped us a lot. And then like the message with Coach Barnes has always been like, if you don't stop the run, like you're not gonna get that chance to pass rush. So like I really took that personal, like really over the off season, and shoot, like it's really been showing. You stop the run, you get that opportunity to pass rush. So really just start. Like I've always been the type to play the run, but like shoot, if you play the run, yeah, like I said, you'll be able to stop the pass. So get the chance to pass rush. So yeah.
So when you got here, you mentioned that, you had some familiarity with Coach White, and you had been here on campus before, but I'm sure you had like a lot to learn about the program in a short amount of time. What were your initial impressions on something that Shane Beamer cares about a lot, like culture and camaraderie and the team feel and guys being close and connected? Like, what did that stand out to you in your first few days on campus and then through workouts and everything?
I would say my first couple of days, like what really stood out to me was like just seeing how Coach Beamer comes in. Like he comes in the same guy every day, brings the energy. It's not fake. Like I mean, he had energy through the phone. Like he just comes in that same as that guy every single day. He's quick to call you out if you're just not being yourself. And I just remember like when me like first getting here too, like I was super quiet. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just super quiet. I really didn't know anybody. And then I remember like, like when I first got there and stuff, like the players, they was like trying to force that, just force me to talk, force me to get comfortable around them. And like, man, like since actually coming out of that shell, I feel like I really came out of the shell after spring ball. I just felt like I had something to prove. But just coming out of that shell, like I've really just built that brotherhood with a lot of the guys. Like a lot of guys, they bring me in, they call me Unc, which is insane. Cause I just turned 21. They already call me Unc. I'm used to being one of the younger players on the team, but apparently I'm one of the older guys on the team. But man, like I really felt like it really feels like home being here. So,
what away from football? I know, especially right now, man, when you're in camp, like it's pretty much all ball all the time. Of course, you still got to be a student athlete. So I know you don't get a ton of free time, but when you do, what do you like to do? Just hang out with the guys? You play video games? You like to cook? Like any hobbies?
I say some of my off-field hobbies, like besides doing all those things, I would say reading the Bible, playing the game, because I'm more of like an introvert, if I'm being honest. But I'll say reading the Bible, playing the game, cooking, going to movies, spending time with my girlfriend, and just really those things. Because I'm more of like an introvert, and of course I hang out with the guys and stuff too, but it's not very much. But yeah.
All right, so you mentioned cooking. Let's close it out by asking that, because I was going to ask you about food anyway. What's your favorite dish to cook, or what's your specialty? What's the Caleb Herring special that you can cook up?
I say my burgers.
Ooh, okay.
My burgers.
All right, that sounds delicious. I'm a big burger guy. That's awesome, man. All right, well, Caleb, hey, this has been a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you taking time, especially right in the middle of camp, to chat with us. Definitely look forward to seeing what you're going to do this season. I know all the fans listening are too, so all the best. Wishing you a healthy and productive season, man. Thanks for taking time to join me.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready for the season.
All right, that's Caleb Herring of Gamecock Football. You're listening to the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing here on The Game.
That is Chris Clark's conversation with Caleb Herring there. Again, Caleb coming in as a transfer from Tennessee. Very excited to see what he's going to do on the field this year, especially, hey, if Dylan Stewart's not available early to start the season, could be an opportunity really for him to really get some good playing time at that edge spot and hopefully do a lot of good things on the field for Carolina this year. Obviously, as you heard in the conversation there, really good personality that seems to resonate well with his teammates, and that's really good as well. So, again, we'll continue to talk about him as we lead up to the season. But coming up next, we're going to get back into this ruling from a judge in Louisiana yesterday about the class of 2022 being allowed to come back to college football, including several guys that are currently or have been on NFL rosters this offseason. We'll talk to sports law attorney Mitt Winter coming up next as the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, continues on your Thursday on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, The Game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, The Game.
All right, everyone, let's tell you about the presenting sponsor of the Garnet Trust Hour every Tuesday and Thursday. It's our friends over at Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. That's KrantzComfort.com. Yes, the brand new website for the company, KRANTZ Comfort.com. Krantz with a K, of course. KrantzComfort.com. Family owned for 42 years since back in 1983. And Justin Krantz, the general manager there, still running the show. 900-plus reviews of 5 stars from all locations. 803-672-3224 is how you can get in touch with them. They've been to my home. They've been to Wes's home for both plumbing and HVAC needs. Keeping the Midlands comfortable since 1983. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, even generators. Go check out their financing options. Get a free estimate. Let them take care of any of your home or business's HVAC or plumbing needs. 803-672-3224, KrantzComfort.com.
Let me tell you, the Gunner family, myself, Ansley, Austin, there's no better time than sitting out back at Lake Murray and grilling up great steaks. You need to stop by Old Timey Meat Market today, one of the 3 locations, South Congaree, St. Andrews Road in Irma, or the Lexington store, and maybe you find a steak or chicken. Maybe you find pork. Old Timey Meat Market's got you taken care of. So visit one of the 3 stores today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Old Timey Meat Market, quality selection, a cut above the rest.
Remember when businesses were local and you knew and trusted the people that worked there? I'm David Hill of True Protect Pest Services. We remember and we miss it. That's why I started True Protect. At True Protect, we're more than pest control. We're your neighbors, bringing over 50 years combined experience to everyone we serve. For local, reliable pest service, call 803-400-8188. That's 400-8188. I'll actually answer the phone, and we'll get started. True Protect Pest Services, proven pest protection.
Join Louisiana Purchase as they celebrate 5 flavorful years of great food, good times, and an amazing community. On Friday, August 21st, stop by their reception and drop-in event from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Enjoy live jazz, an abundant Cajun buffet, and a celebratory toast. Tickets are just $80 and include the buffet, a beverage, and a good time. Celebrate with Louisiana Purchase in Murraywood Shopping Center on St. Andrews Road in Irmo. Get your tickets at the restaurant or online at louisianapurchase.com.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at CantyCanFixIt.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it. Now is a perfect time to start on your next success. Get your application fee waived when you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by September 1st. Put your goals within reach. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The Haven Harley-Davidson is turning up the heat. Bike night on Friday, August 28th from 5 to 8 with live music and food. Cooler days ahead on Saturday, noon to 3. Register to win an outdoor bundle with a cooler and folding chair. Harley's Angels will be serving free soda and water. Plus, get $1,000 customer cash on select 2026 Lowrider S and Lowrider ST models. Take a test ride and get a free limited edition flag. Discover more at 866-768-5095 or thehavenharley.com.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. These players are battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
I think you can feel the intensity.
The goals, the energy, wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started. The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler Head, Jack Velcher, and Chris Clark along with you on your Thursday here on The Game. And as we've been talking about a lot this offseason, seems like every single week, a new piece of litigation or TRO or something of the sort comes out that affects the college sports landscape. And most recently yesterday, a judge in Louisiana granting a TRO to 30 college athletes, 16 of which are former college football players, many of which are currently on NFL rosters or were this offseason, granting them the ability, at least in the short term, to come back to college football. We are not legal experts. We're trying to understand this the best we can. So we bring in a former guest of the show. He is a sports law attorney out of Kansas City for Kenny Hertz Perry LLC. Mitt Winter joining us on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Mr. Winter, thank you so much for joining us again. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Again, your insight is a whole lot better than what we can provide just on ourselves here. So let's kind of go back to when the 5-5 rule was announced by the NCAA early on in the summer. And at that moment, they said the class of 2022 would not be grandfathered in. I imagine in an instant you knew that these kind of things are going to be coming down the line, right?
Yeah, I mean, the lawyers that are representing the athletes in all these cases that are now being filed, I mean, they were very explicit in telling the NCAA, if you don't include the class of 2022 in the new rule and give them a fifth season, then you're going to have lawsuits being filed against you. And that's exactly what happened. So either the NCAA didn't believe that lawsuits were going to be filed or was confident that they would win those lawsuits. There's also a little conspiracy theory that some people are floating around that the NCAA intentionally did it because they knew they would get sued, and that would help them try and get the federal bill passed that's in Congress right now. I don't necessarily know about that. That would be some pretty strong chess thinking there. A lot of different pieces would have to go right, but that's where we're at right now with all these lawsuits pending. And it could have been avoided if they just included the class of 2022 in the new rule, but that was not the decision that was made.
Mitt, it's Chris, thanks so much for taking time to join us with your busy schedule. One question that I have seen a lot from fans stemming from the original lawsuit that kind of kicked this all off, and now for the latest one, is the status of the players in terms of the transfer portal. So if you could just clear that up for us. Does the ruling say, hey, if you're a class of 2022 player who exhausted your eligibility, yes, we know that the TRO says they can get a fifth year, but they can enter the portal? Like, break all that down for us.
Yeah, so it is kind of confusing because there are now about 10 different TROs or preliminary injunctions that have been entered by 10 separate courts, and the orders that they've granted are all a little bit different. So the case that people are thinking of that does not currently allow athletes to enter the transfer portal is one that's called the Wisney case. It's one pending in federal court in Colorado. That was a class action. So that, under the terms of that order, allowed all athletes in the class of 2022 that have only played 4 seasons in all Division I sports to play another season. But the order was unclear on whether it also enjoined the NCAA's transfer rules. And so the plaintiffs and the NCAA have been fighting about whether that's the case. But as of now, the court order doesn't specifically say you can enter the transfer portal. But then you have all these state court orders that many of them do explicitly say, not only are we allowing these athletes to play for another season, but we are specifically telling the NCAA you cannot enforce your transfer portal rules. And in some cases, these orders are creating new transfer portals that are a week long, like in the Louisiana one you mentioned yesterday. The court explicitly said, NCAA, you have to create a transfer portal window that starts today and goes for a week. And there have been some of the other orders that have done that recently as well.
Mitt, there's been a handful of, with the Louisiana court ruling, a handful of NFL guys that are granted, a chance to come back for a fifth year of college eligibility. Break down why that has been the case, because I thought I read somewhere when the Colorado ruling came out that guys that signed professional contracts at the NFL level weren't going to be allowed to come back.
Yeah, again, it comes down to what was in the court order. So the Colorado one, it didn't really touch on a lot of these other rules that would essentially prevent athletes from coming back, even though they were given another season. There were other NCAA rules, like say if you signed a pro contract or you played a pro game or if you signed with a pro contract agent, that would still prohibited them from using that season of competition that they were given. But in the Louisiana order, that explicitly said, NCAA, you cannot enforce your rules that say you can't play in college if you played in a professional game, if you signed a professional contract, or if you signed with a pro contract agent. So that was very explicit. And I think the plaintiffs and lawyers in these cases are getting smarter in every one of these cases and realizing, hey, it's not good enough for the athlete just to get another season. We also have to go after these other rules that might prevent them from playing. So in the new court orders, they're writing this into the proposed orders they're giving to the court, and the court now is signing those orders with this language in there. So that's how we might see guys that have played in a preseason NFL game or been on a roster or signed with an NBA team and played in some NBA Summer League games be able to potentially come back.
Sports law attorney Mitt Winter joining us here in the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. This TRO is a particular interest here locally because former Gamecock DQ Smith is included in on this. Now, it doesn't seem likely that Carolina is going to bring him back, though that possibility now does exist. But with the TRO, those things can obviously end up going the other way, like we saw with Charles Bediako at Alabama back earlier on this year. What are the risks for teams that are welcoming back these guys that were on NFL rosters as recently as a week ago, if this ends up going the other way in the middle of the season?
Yeah, since a lot of these are just temporary restraining orders, which by their nature are only supposed to be in place for a short period of time, weeks often, there's still a lot of legal maneuvering to go. So the next step is there will be a preliminary injunction hearing where the court will hear from the parties about whether it should convert its temporary restraining order into a preliminary injunction, which would be in place throughout the entire time the case is pending. But even if that happens, the NCAA at that point would probably appeal the preliminary injunction order up to an appellate court. And they have successfully gotten a preliminary injunction stayed in one of these cases, in one of the Ohio state court cases, which was really the first state court case in these 5-5 cases where a preliminary injunction was entered. The NCAA did get the appellate court to stay that injunction while the appeal is pending. So it's possible that could happen. And if you brought a guy onto your roster, an appellate court could stay the preliminary injunction. And then at that point, they wouldn't be able to play, wouldn't have eligibility at that point until the appellate court decided what it's going to do with the preliminary injunction. In the Colorado case, the NCAA has asked the appellate court to stay that injunction order. The appellate court hasn't ruled on it yet, so that one is still in place. And the NCAA has appealed some of the other ones that have been granted as well, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Mitt, here's an absolutely loaded question, right? But what will it take to fix this, right? You mentioned the congressional bill. I think we all have serious questions or pessimism that or some version of it will ever pass, but what is it going to take to clean up all of this to where maybe both sides have some level of happiness with some type of structure?
Yeah, I think there's really two options. One is a congressional bill like that gives the NCAA, complete immunity for its eligibility rules, from antitrust laws and also the different state court types of lawsuits and claims that we're seeing. The other option is some sort of model where athletes, and whether it's the NCAA or a conference, are agreeing on what the eligibility rules are. In pro sports, you have collective bargaining to agree on these types of rules. Don't have that in college sports right now because under the current state of the law, the athletes have to be employees, and then there's other legal issues that would have to be addressed as well. So short of a congressional solution right now, I think it's going to be tough to address all of this right now unless there's some sort of non-collective bargaining agreement struck between athletes and, like I said, NCAA or conferences. The SEC and the Big Ten have been talking about doing some conference level governance, kind of taking over eligibility rules and compensation rules from the NCAA and having their own types of rules on that, which is a possibility because the conferences have a little more legal protection than the NCAA would. So that's also an option as well.
Mitt, man, we appreciate your insight as always. Again, you this is your area of expertise, so we appreciate we can call on you when we need some more clarification on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on, fun to talk about and think about. So I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. He is Mitt Winter. You can follow him at Winter Sports Law on Twitter. And again, this stuff comes up pretty much every single week. So there'll be more things coming in the very near future that I imagine he'll have plenty of thoughts and opinions on and we'll get him back on when we need to get some more clarification. But yeah, a very realistic possibility we could have guys that were quite literally playing in NFL preseason games as soon as a week ago, being on college rosters here in the next couple weeks as we get into the start of the season. What happens past that, we don't know. But here's the thing, and I know I brought up this earlier about Greg Sankey sending his message to schools in the SEC of like, hey, adhere to the guidelines of eligibility because you don't want to get down a path where you have one of these guys on your roster and they have to get taken off because something changes there. But everybody wants to win. And if you're a school that says, hey, we really need safety help and DQ Smith can help you out, you're going to be hard-pressed to say no if he's available to come to your school and fill that roster need for you.
Yeah, I mean, there have been all these warnings, don't do this, don't do that, be careful, right? And so far, nothing serious has happened.
Right.
You think about even some of the recruiting stuff related to NIL and player payments. Hey, the school's under investigation. We're going to start doing investigations soon. We're going to start popping people. And there's really been nothing serious, especially with how widespread all of that has been. You haven't seen any of that happen yet. And so, when it comes to the court stuff, look, legally, these players can play. And so coaches and administrators, maybe they have a little bit of heartburn about it. But at the end of the day, if they're allowed to play, people, like you said, people want to win. You kind of do what it takes and figure it out later.
Jack, I understand the people that look at these kind of things and say, where goes the game that I love? Because it keeps devolving more and more seemingly as the weeks go by.
Oh, man, I can't even tell you how it becomes so – just feel like something changes every single day, honestly, man. And stuff like this, if you told me my past self 10, 15 years ago this was going to be the future of the sport, I would have laughed in your face. It's just crazy to see where the game's at now and just the landscape of this sport in general.
It's where we are, and we'll certainly see what happens next. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 2. At one school, you can fire the man, but maybe not the spirit. Now, I'll tell you what I'm talking about coming up next. It is the Garnet Trust Hour presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing on your Thursday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
If you were to ask someone to name the best teams in the NFC this season, I'd bet they would say the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, and it makes sense. The Rams are absolutely loaded, the Seahawks defending Super Bowl champions. But there's a team in the NFC West that's flying under the radar, and it's not the Arizona Cardinals. Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Niners will beat the Rams Week 1 in Melbourne. Don't sleep on San Fran. I'm Nick Costos.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
I think music is a kind of magic. As a therapist, I have seen what music can do. It gives you insight into kind of what's going on in their head and their life and their world. Because of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to go to school and turn my passion for music into a career that helps others. And that is pretty magical too.
Better support means a better South Carolina, and a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's two things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at cantycanfixit.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour, sponsored by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on 107.5 The Game and The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Tyler, Jack, and Chris wrapping up the hour here on your Thursday on The Game. Reminder, a week from tomorrow, it's Game Summer Golf Classic at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia, presented by 107.5 Game and the Lexington County Gamecock Club. We want to see you out there. We're going to have the onion sausage from the Gamecock Club, libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits, lunch by Little Pigs, and the golf gun makes its return with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. If you want to sign up, give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000. Hit prompt number 2 for the clubhouse and to sign up for the Games Summer Golf Classic. All right, guys, we've talked a lot about the changes this offseason in college football, new coaches, new faces, and new places, and all that kind of stuff. One we haven't spent a ton of time on would be the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who, of course, fired Mike Gundy last year after 2 decades at the helm and hired Eric Morris from North Texas after a very successful run out there with the Mean Green. Well, a certain clip from Eric Morris has been making the rounds on college football Twitter this week. I want you to close your eyes and don't listen to the accent because it's clearly not Mike Gundy, but listen to the context of what's being said here from Eric Morris and his encounter with a wild creature.
Brain's going constantly, and so it's something I don't sleep very well. I've had a couple armadillo problems tearing up my lawn, and so finally a couple days ago I just popped up at 2:30 because I couldn't sleep and thinking about something. I thought it was a great opportunity to go outside, and luckily I found him. This is my first experience with an armadillo, and he was crushing my yard, my flower beds, digging everything up, and but I got him about 2:30. Had to send a text message to my neighbors. I apologize for the gunshot. I am in the country, so it wasn't legal. But I did get rid of him just because I don't sleep right now. I think just naturally that clock's going off in your mind. Continues to race on the things we're doing good right now and what we need to continue to build on.
You can fire the man, but you can't fire the spirit. That's the most Gundy answer I think I've ever heard from Oklahoma State's new head coach.
Yeah, I mean, Gundy, what a character, man. He, y'all remember, this was like a few years ago, he had to move his weekly presser, which was typically very entertaining, to Zoom because he had like a black eye because he got headbutted by a cattle on his ranch.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Had to run in with a cow. So, I mean, the spirit is absolutely still there.
Maybe this is one of those things that no matter who is coaching Oklahoma State, you just have to have this personality about you to be able to encounter anything at any time and tell funny animal stories.
Well, remember, I mean, I don't know if he had any, I'm not sure about his, like, livestock run-ins, but before Gundy, who'd they have? Les Miles.
Yeah.
Another very eccentric guy. So since, like, 2001, it's like they give, like, a personality test or something. They're like, all right, do you fit the bill? Yeah. You have a ranch?
You can coach here.
Do you eat grass? Like, for Les Miles, do you eat grass? Have you ever been headbutted by a cattle? Have you shot a wild animal on your property? All right, come on. You're good.
That probably is part of the job description or something that comes up during the interview process is you got to have the personality to coach Oklahoma State. So
I got to imagine a lot of Cowboys fans heard this and like, yeah, he's one of us. You know what I mean? Like, especially when Gundy had been your guy for so long. You're like, I don't know about this Morris guy. And then he comes in and says, yeah, I shot an armadillo at 3 a.m. on my property. You're like, all right, he'll fit in just fine.
Yeah, gives you a little more leeway.
Yeah, you're like, all right, this guy's okay. He's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely hilarious. I'm going to go check the O State Illustrated on 3.
Okay.
I'm going to check out their boards and
see what they're saying. See if he's garnered a lot more love since then.
Yeah, see what they think. Somebody on their board said it's not turtle hunting, but it's a start.
Yeah, you got to work your way up.
I appreciate the butterfly effect of the former North Texas coach shooting the mascot of the Texas State Armadillos to represent his complete departure from that life.
There you go. That's
message boards,
ceremonial.
Guys.
That's right.
You can always find some gold.
That's right.
Yeah, no, you definitely can.
Yeah, and look, this is gonna be an interesting experiment because much like John Summerall at Tulane, Alex Golish at Auburn, he's basically taking, I think, most of the North Texas roster and bringing them to Stillwater. We're going to see how successful they're going to be. Drew Mustemaker set the world on fire last year in a lot of ways, but this is going to be an interesting experiment to see how that jumps from one level to the next.
Yeah, 11-2 last year at North Texas. Very good season by all accounts. But yeah, that's at North Texas in the American. And Oklahoma State, he was coming off a very lackluster last few years. So this is going to take some time. I don't know how quickly this thing can be turned around with a North Texas roster basically coming over to Stillwater. But, I find it hard to believe it can get much worse than it was the last couple of years under Gundy.
Well, he's at least 1-0 against Armadillos, so we can say that much. We'll see what happens when the season gets rolling here in a couple weeks. That'll do it for the Garnet Trust Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour comes up next on your Thursday on the game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hear that? That's Alka-Seltzer, the sound of fast heartburn relief. Because when heartburn hits, you want something that works fast. Quick! Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets start neutralizing stomach acid in seconds. So nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Next time when that burning feeling comes on strong, don't wait. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Try Alka-Seltzer. Use as directed.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game for AAA Heating and Air. Look, I know you're thinking about a lot of spring cleaning right now, but are you thinking about your generators? You need to be. Those things are vitally important when our power goes out. You want to make sure your generator is running great. At AAA Heating and Air, they're ready to help you. So call today or visit their website. Call AAAtoday.com and tell them Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Want the flexibility to attend Gamecock athletics events without committing to season tickets? The Gamecock Go Pass is for you. For just $25 a month, you'll get access to home non-conference football games, most basketball and baseball games, plus all home softball, soccer, and volleyball games. You can even attend additional football games for an added fee. It's flexible, affordable, and there's no long-term commitment. Learn more and get your Gamecock Go Pass at GamecocksOnline.com/go.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 16 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Life matters. Some promises were made to be broken. Isabella, the 16th century Queen of Spain, vowed not to remove her underwear until her husband captured the city of Ostend in Holland. The bad news for the Queen and her husband is that the Dutch defenders held out for 3 years. I suppose the promise may have been an attempt to motivate her king to hurry up and get the job done, but I'm certain that everyone concerned would have understood perfectly if Isabella had decided to change underwear after a few days. This just goes to show that we need to be careful when making a promise. Even royalty can get in over their heads. Only God is wise enough and powerful enough to never break a promise, and He always keeps His word. This is Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life on Bush River Road. Learn more at ChristianLifeColumbia.com. And remember, life matters, and so do you.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head.
To the house!
On 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
11 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Tyler, West, and Chris here with you on the game, navigating you through almost the end of the week. One more day to go until the weekend. By the way, the last weekend without any college football action until mid-January. Because guess what, Wes? Cover your ears. Next week's week 0.
What? Oh, my goodness.
That's right. It's almost here.
Am I... What did we decide last year? Wasn't I allowed to watch one game? Or I feel like we had some rules. You pick the marquee game.
Yeah, I think there was one game.
I watched the overseas game. What was that? Last year, Kansas State
and Iowa State, Farmageddon in Ireland.
Yes, yes.
And then Avery Johnson's dad and brother brawled in the parking lot.
Yes, they were ready for week 0. I watched that game in the hospital it was the day after my daughter was born. So that was I will always remember that week 0 just because it was
surreal setting for me.
See, week 0 should be even more special to you now because of that.
The world is trying to show you that
it's real.
It means
The
something.
first college football Saturday your daughter was alive for was week 0.
Yes, that is fitting.
That should be special, man.
According to some of the Discord on Twitter X, I shouldn't have even gone to the hospital. Should have stayed at home on the couch.
Bill and I actually got into this a little bit yesterday because J.D. Piquel, our guy over on 3, has, one of those about 2-minute clips about, hey, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, whatever, not on college football Saturdays. And we all play into the, hey, it's college football and nothing else this time of year. There's a line, though, and I feel like there's been an interesting discourse back and forth on how far you should actually take this to where, hey, don't affect other aspects of your life to watch, Nebraska play Penn State at 3:30 on a random October day.
Yeah, I'm just so over the off-season discourse. I'm just ready to kick this thing off, man.
We need football, man. Like, people, we're getting to the stage.
The delirium has set in.
Delirium. That's exactly what I was going to say. The delirium. It's like when you've been, like, in the desert and you're, like, thirsty. Like, your body's starting to shut down and you start seeing stuff.
Seeing a mirage of North Sellers throwing a touchdown pass. Sorry, I woke up.
Or just making stuff up. Like, there's the boogeyman. And, so we're advancing to, like, everything's a conspiracy theory. Everything's this, everything's that. It's like, guys, like, we just need football.
I'm not
going stir crazy.
I used to be a conspiracy theorist until everybody started being one, and then I decided not to be one anymore. But so I'm not. But I am a little bit conspiracy curious about this Akron thing that Big Cat and the dude that plays college football, 25
Bordeaux,
but both end up in the top 9. But then I saw there is a top 10, but they gave it for top 9 at first. I don't know what is going on. There's no way, statistically, that both those guys were finalists.
Seems very suspicious.
I think it's like a big. Now, it's not the same as a Ponzi scheme because there will actually be something delivered, but like if it's Big Cat, like it's kind of a mix of a Ponzi scheme and conspiracy. Hey, you have a good chance. Everybody has a chance, but instead it's like rigged. So everybody's buying their season tickets for $50 and all that.
Yep. Well, and it's two guys that I know Big Cat at least was very open about, I'm going to enter this. You should too. You got a chance to be the Akron offensive coordinator for a drive that probably drove a lot of traffic and people buying season tickets that they're not going to use for the opportunity to, call plays for a series.
Aren't they going to have just a lot of empty seats?
Probably. I don't know.
Won't there be a lot of people that bought tickets and aren't?
You can probably find an Akron game ticket for like $1 or $2 on SeatGeek, I guess.
Yeah,
for Akron, though, I'm sure they'd love to have the stands.
They get to keep the money
cleared.
Yeah, they don't care how full the stands are. They just want the money. And it's a great tool they did. But yeah,
might be some unintended consequences is all I'm saying.
Possibly, but yes, when I saw the top 9 get revealed yesterday, I was also a little suspicious.
Why was it 9 instead of 10?
Because I think that there was one person that I think got named a finalist but pulled out or something. So instead of giving somebody else,
got nervous. What?
Instead of giving somebody else the 10th spot, they just like, hey, we got top 9 now. Sure, I guess. Why not?
The internet said that's for the Bob Morris game, right?
Yeah, Bob Morris. That's
which
funny.
is sounds like a restaurant in Georgia instead of.
It's a cousin of Bill and Mary. You can get a ticket for $24. Like a good ticket.
Yeah, it'll go down more. Check that day of the game.
Yeah, check it right before kickoff.
Sure. See how that looks.
$2 plus fees, so it's $80.
So yeah, that latest example of why we need actual games to start is now we're getting into conspiracies about contests being run in the off season for being Akron's first drive offensive coordinator against Bob Morris. We are 16 days away from South Carolina starting the season. Not really hard to guess who the 16 is the topic of the question today, but guys, name, and dudes, who are some other 16s?
Question, I'm guessing, is about Austin Hales.
Yes, how'd you know?
Former
Austin Hales.
former South Carolina walk-on quarterback. Man, 16's Rashad Fenton.
Good one. Just saw a clip of him yesterday playing against Tennessee in 20, maybe that would be 17, when South Carolina pulled out a squeaker on the road. Rashad Fenton, he embodied DBs more than any DB in the world. You know, like Tennessee was driving. You remember that was the one where Chris Lamons broke up the pass at the end when Tennessee had like the extra play. Talking about conspiracies. Rashad Fenton got a PI, like a clear pass interference flag, that got called, and his response was just to clap and like celebrate. Like he was so happy about the flag. Like he was Mr. DB, you know, Rashad Fenton. Matthew Thomas did not wear 16, did he?
He wore 15.
Matthew Thomas is the most misappropriated number on the internet. If you ask Google, you could type in almost any number that could be a receiver, and they'll be like, yeah, Matthew Thomas wore that, the Google AI. Like, they've had him at 85, 16, a bunch of other numbers.
I got more.
Okay, what you got?
Shaq Wilson wore it at one point,
16
I think.
and 54.
Yep. We mentioned him for 54, so we'll mention him for 16 as well. How about our guy Hot Rod Fitton? I think he was 16.
That's right.
How about our boy walk-on wide receiver Trey Adkins? Wore 16. And a little bit of a modern throwback. No longer with us. Jamacia Jackson from the Holtz era, a defensive back who wore 16 and was I remember him being I was younger than a heck of a football player.
Jamacia Jackson had a 99-yard interception return against Vandy one year. Remember that?
Season opener.
Yep.
I think that's my 16.
I think we're tapped out on guys naming dudes.
All right, well, we'll go to the 16 that we know the best right now, that being Lenora Sellers, who goes into his third year as starting quarterback for South Carolina. In his prior 2 years, what is the most offensive yards he has put up in a single game? What game was it? And then if you can give me the yardage, you'll get the bonus point.
Okay, so total yardage, passing, receiving. Sack adjusted?
Sack adjusted. Total just overall yards that show up in the stat book.
I
go for it.
I think I have a guess. I wouldn't say I'm super confident.
Okay.
There's a couple of games that come to mind. I feel like this would have been talked about more if it was this game, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Because I was really hoping, Tyler, that you would ask me a different question about this game. Ask us a different question about this game.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Clemson in 24.
Okay.
Because everybody talks about the game he had running the football.
166 yards.
But so are we Price is writing this?
Well, the first question is the game itself, and then we'll see if you can guess the yardage as the bonus.
Okay, can I do some math for a second? Is a calculator allowed? Or
yeah,
no?
calculator, just can't look at stat sheets.
Okay.
Are you going to change your answer now that you're thinking through this?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Clemson game 547.
Okay.
Oof. Okay. Trying to work this out in my head. So that had to be his career high rushing, right?
Maybe.
I don't feel very confident at all. So I feel like, and I could get this stat wrong, actually, despite the loss in 2025 to Clemson last year, I feel like his passing yards might have been his career high in that game or close to it. Don't think there was a whole heck of a lot going on from a rushing standpoint. And, man, we should know this answer. But between the two of us, one of us should know this. But I'm going to take a kind of a wild guess just because of that passing stat. I'm going to go Clemson 2025. Give me 390.
Okay, it's neither Clemson game.
Okay.
It is the Missouri game in 24, 398 total yards, which is best for 8th in school history in terms of total offensive yards in a single game. In 2024, 330 yards against Clemson because he only threw for 164 that day, running for 166. And then last year, 384. He threw for 382 and only had 2 total rushing yards after you take the sacks out.
In what game?
In the Clemson game.
Okay.
So very high offensive output games, but the Missouri game was actually his best.
Yeah. When you think back about how that went, you can see that. I think like the ones that came to mind were both Clemson games because of the high rushing total in 24. I didn't think like he tore it up from I remembered some passing plays. It's like it seems like he had a lot of yards. I did know in 25 a lot of passing yards against Clemson. Didn't know the rushing total was quite that low. I think there were certainly some sacks in that game, which would have affected that.
5 of them.
And then A&M, probably 24 and 5, like good games there. And then the Missouri game because that was a strong offensive output, like by the whole team, you know. So those kind of came to mind.
Yeah, I think the A&M game, 2 years ago would have been right at 350 total yards.
Okay, so that would have been a good guess.
That one's up there. But yeah, the Missouri just 2 yards shy of 400 total.
Wes is not happy.
Wes still has the lead.
I do have the lead.
2 points.
2 points.
I just screwed that up. So you know what popped in my head? The number 381 because I did do research on this, and I remember thinking, wow, he threw for 381 yards against Clemson. That's way higher than I remembered in reality. But that I definitely like transposed some numbers from each Clemson game.
Right. Yeah, mixed them up. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Any bonuses, Tyler?
Well, the bonus was going to be guessing the yardage if you'd gotten the game right. But
I'm sorry. I thought you had to get both components.
Well, yeah, I can throw this in there. So he had. Can you tell me how many touchdowns he had in that Missouri game and where it sits on the single game passing touchdown record list for Carolina?
5.
Okay, where does that sit on the list?
Second.
That's correct.
Okay.
Can you tell me the other people he's tied with on that list?
No.
There's quite a few.
No, I can't. All right. That was just for fun.
For just fun, no points.
Just for fun. No.
For reference, Tommy Suggs, Jeff Grant, Steve Tannehill, twice. Savell Newton, Dylan Thompson, Jake Bentley all also have 5 touchdown passes in a game.
Good company.
Spencer Rattler, alone at top with 6 against Tennessee.
As we...
That's the count.
We saw him count most of those.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Who's playing in week number 1? We got some more clarification on that coming up next. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Thursday on the game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic, sponsored by White Brown Smiles, is coming Friday, August 28th at the Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The Golf Gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, knock down a hole-in-one and win a vehicle from Pound Automotive Group. Play the Vegas hole sponsored by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event, sponsored by White Brown Smiles on Friday, August 28th. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, 11:16 a.m. here on the game, which means we're getting awful close to lunchtime. So you know where we're going to recommend our friends at Firehouse Subs. You can use the Rapid Rescue online and join that club so that you can not only hit all the Firehouse Subs locations. There's definitely one around you if you're in the Midlands. You can also earn yourself some rewards towards future Firehouse Subs. I see right now, got 50% off your first order when you join. So make sure you join up on Firehouse Subs. Use the Rapid Rescue to go. Check out the Smokin' Honey Melt. Flame-seared shaved steak or grilled chicken breast combined with a duo of red and green peppers, caramelized onions, melted provolone, chipotle, honey dressing, and mayo, all on that toasted sub roll. Protein-packed and drizzled with the new honey chipotle sauce. And a portion of every purchase goes to benefit first responders, as always. That's firehousesubs.com or the Firehouse Subs app. Download it. Use the Rapid Rescue to go today. Firehouse Subs.
How can I help you?
Live agent!
Stop talking to robots and start talking to Cumulus Digital. Get help from a real digital marketing expert who knows your streets and neighbors. Go to cumulusdigital.com, fill out the form, and connect to a real person.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Joe Standifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Elijah Campbell from The Game here, and so is back to school. New schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109, plus save $75 on air duct cleaning. Book today at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Are you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue, getting passed around to people who can't help? Or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at cantycanfixit.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it.
There's nothing like a Saturday at Williams-Brice Stadium. The roar of the crowd, towels waving, the lights flashing after a Carolina touchdown. You just can't experience it staying at home. So catch a game and join us at Williams-Brice this season. Single game tickets are on sale now with special discounts available for first responders, teachers, military members, and more. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/FB2026 to learn more. That's GamecocksOnline.com/FB2026.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back again. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Tyler, Wes, and Chris on your Thursday. Here on The Game, one of the biggest topics of this offseason, certainly as we've gotten into preseason camp so far, has been the health status of both Jacarius Peak and Dylan Stewart. And up into Tuesday, when we last heard from Shane Beamer, still was kind of the same answer we've been getting here for a while of those guys progressing, being back on track, and no new updates in terms of when they or won't they be able to play. But yesterday, Chris Lowe of On3 in a conversation with Coach Beamer did get that it's unlikely that these two guys will be available for game number 1. Is this breaking news? Not necessarily, but it is the first confirmation we've got from Coach Beamer that, hey, they might not be out there when the season begins coming up in 16 days.
Yeah, and, people were wanting a little bit more clarity on where they stand and what the latest is. Like, I'm with you. I don't think you would say it's necessarily a surprise based on how things have played out, but it is the first, direct confirmation that, it looks like they won't be out there game 1. The exact quote, neither are long-term injuries. They're going to play and want to play. I just don't know that it's realistic to think that they will be back for the start of the season, Beamer told Chris Lowe, who, I would say does as good of a job as anybody out there over the last decade covering SEC football. So just a little bit more clarity there on where things stand. And I thought it was interesting. The other maybe note from this article is that, On3 also was doing a profile on Art Briles, and they spoke to Kendall Briles, and Briles told On3 that the Gamecocks are still trying to identify their 7 best offensive linemen, but basically, singled out Darius Gray as a freshman to watch and said that he has been working at left tackle with the second team, but will be hard to keep off the field. And also somebody that, Chris Lowe talked to over here singled out Julian Walker. So not a surprise at all that those guys would be 2 of the guys mentioned, but, and I think these 2 guys were probably linked into this because obviously Gray's an offensive lineman like Peak, Walker, an edge guy like Stewart, so they were kind of drawing the parallel of, hey, these freshmen may be ready to make an impact. But I would say just like our 100th confirmation of the offseason that Gray and Walker are going to be pretty good players and possibly play a lot this year.
Yeah, the Gray thing, I feel like how we start overusing phrases, and mine this year is like, not if a guy's going to play, but when, how much. Like, he's going to see the field. And fortunately for South Carolina, they've got, instead of opening with Miami, where it's all hands on deck, and I know no coach is going to say that, but that's kind of the reality of it. You're going to have an opportunity in those games to kind of see what you've got, which is, I think, is a luxury going into SEC play. Shane Beamer mentioned it the other day, like some guys, they're really good in practice, and then you throw them out there and I think he said they lose their mind or whatever. And he's talking about everybody, but for a freshman, that can happen more than anyone else because it's, for these guys, when they go out there against Kent State, it's literally going to be their first college football game if it's a true freshman. And so, Darius Gray has done enough, it seems like, especially if he continues progressing, to play. But the question's where. So, that was another confirmation, which I think we knew, that he's seen some reps at left tackle. He can also play right tackle. He can play guard. He can play center. So where's it going to be? The very first time that he gets to go in there and take some reps, at what spot? We don't know that yet in a game situation, but that's going to be fascinating. Julian Walker is one that everybody's talking about, Wes, because big-time recruit, big-time flip for South Carolina. His dad's on staff. He's huge. He's already 6'6", 255, looks the part. And he's going to play too. And we heard after the first scrimmage, for instance, he had a sack, so he continues to progress. But I think people are kind of leaving out, and maybe Julian Walker you put in there because, if you don't have Stewart, indeed, for the first game, you're going to have to plug in somebody else. But, man, I feel like people are kind of underselling Caleb Herring, who we talked about in the 10 o'clock hour. He's had a really good camp, good spring, good summer. But, yeah, I think both those guys, like you said, just more confirmations that they're continuing to come along and have a chance to be really good, have a chance to make, an early impact as freshmen.
Yeah, and again, from what Beamer told Chris Lowe, what he's been telling us, this isn't like something that should linger too deep into the season. But, and again, these injuries are things that can't always crop back up. Which of these 2 guys can this team theoretically survive the longest without? You mentioned the depth there at both those spots with Darius Gray and other guys. that factor into left tackle. You've got some depth at the edge spot. And again, these two guys are very special players, which is why we've spent so much time talking about them and the impact that they're going to have by not being out there for however long that is. But which of these spots can survive the longest if these guys aren't able to play for an extended period of time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, first of all, and this doesn't necessarily tie into the question, but I think it's worth mentioning, at least based on what they were doing in the open portion of Sunday's practice, Peak was doing more at that time than Dylan Stewart was. So, which kind of matches some things about, hey, Peak may be further along in terms of being ready than Stewart. So, I think these two guys get linked together, obviously, but they're two completely separate injuries. Like, neither one has anything to do with the other at all. So, like, just because one might be back at some point doesn't mean the other one will or won't be that same time. They're on their own unique timelines, even though they're going to be linked together. I think they're both so important, but I would probably say getting Dylan back is a little bit more important just because the things he can do off the edge as a pass rusher, the ability to disrupt things and force the other team to change their offense based on where you're lined up is pretty special. And I just don't know if you can kind of recreate that. Now Peak was brought in for a reason. Like, I'm not saying you don't need him too. You absolutely need and want them both. But if I'm going to split hairs, I probably lean Dylan.
Yeah, and it almost sounds backwards, but I agree because you look at, what was the biggest issue that you had to fix? Offensive line. Left tackle being a big part of that, but O-line, why wouldn't you say Peak? Well, I think you also, if you contextualize it, Peak, has not played in this offense. Like, he has not taken a snap in this offense yet. Will there be an element of needing to get back into game shape? That'll be there for Dylan, too, but Dylan's played in this exact defense for 2 years. New position coach, but he knows what to do. And Peak's really, really, really good, I think. He's got a chance to be a great player, a difference maker. But we've seen Dylan in this defense. We know what he can do. So you want both back as soon as possible, but I'd go Dylan, too, as much as of a need as the offensive line is.
How is South Carolina addressing communication issues from a year ago to prevent it from happening this season? We'll dive into that coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Thursday on the Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. It's 2026 SEC Media Days.
And the Game was there all week.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think if you look across college football specifically, but college athletics, the best teams, in my opinion, year in, year out, are the oldest teams.
On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, guys, we tell you about them every single day. Some of our favorite people. It's the folks at Integrated Media, integratedmediainc.com. Hit them up for more information about all the great services they have. They've been to my house. They've been to Chris's house. Let them come to yours as well and upgrade your football viewing experience. Tyler's had the countdown every day, so you know the countdown to football is on. Also, the countdown for you to upgrade the man cave before football season starts. 803-948-8327. For me, it wasn't anything near as cool as that. It was making sure that the Ethernet was run all around the house and that when you're hopping on work-from-home stuff or doing video streaming or maybe even playing video games, that you have the best possible hardwired service you can have. Whole home Wi-Fi was another aspect of that for me, too. But what I really want is to have them out, upgrade that extra room in the house into a man cave or home theater system. If that sounds like something for you, hit them up today. 803-948-8327.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Snooze button or choose button? $5 deals at McDonald's give you options. Start your day with the $5 Sausage McMuffin with Egg Extra Value Meal. Or mix and match 2 for $5 and choose your favorites. Like a savory hot Sausage McMuffin with egg or a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles with that sweet taste of maple. Yum! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price. Promotional pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction, quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on the Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to Game Day. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means South Carolina, from Texas to California to Florida, every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. Remember the date, September 2nd. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1075TheGame, spend $5 to get $150 in rewards within 14 days. That's code 1075TheGame. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends August 23rd. For terms, go to dkng.co/predictions promo. Nationwide, based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sport contest availability. Varies by state. Elijah Campbell here with 1075 The Game to tell you that Back to School 2026 is here. New backpacks, new schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109. Plus, save $75 on professional air duct cleaning to help everyone breathe a little easier this school year. Book today at ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Thursday on The Game. We didn't get to everything that Coach Beamer said on Tuesday yesterday, and one thing in particular that's created a lot of conversation is the question that Mingo from Gamecock Central asked him in reference to communication, which was an issue, especially for the offensive line last year. And before answering the question, Beamer asked for a specific example, and Mingo brought up what Case and Henry had said after the SC State game a year ago, which, of course, was a home game, weather delayed, so it wasn't, at full capacity for the entire game. And he mentioned that, hey, we weren't able to hear each other out there, which was a big concern, and obviously was a foreshadowing of issues they would have in places like Baton Rouge and places like that as the season wore on. So Beamer talked on Wednesday how they plan or how they've been combating making sure those kind of things don't happen again this year.
Yeah, certainly. I think, we do a lot of things. The communication starts in the summertime, offensive linemen being able to communicate with one another, get on the same page, quarterback being loud with the communication. We work, different things with crowd noise where they have to be loud, even in walkthroughs sometimes. Mingo will use crowd noise in a walkthrough just to make guys have to communicate on offense and defense. And we tried to do it in the stadium the other night, just having some sound in an empty stadium just so guys had to communicate. But I've been pleased there. I mean, that's on everybody: quarterbacks, tight ends, offensive linemen, running backs. Starts with the system you're running and everybody understanding it and being able to all be on the same page, and then really on the offensive line. So has it been perfect? No, but that's not just the offensive line. That's communication in the secondary. We know it's going to be loud out there on September 5th in our home stadium, and if we're if we're not all on the same page defensively, that could be an 80-yard touchdown pass over your head. So the communication's critical everywhere, and we really work at just the over communicate is what we talk to our guys about. But certainly offensive line, you can't not be on the same page and be turning guys free and things like that, which we've had, some issues with that, and we've all had a hand in it.
Communication on the field was something that I feel like you don't talk about as much until it's an issue, which, again, was a very glaring issue for this team a year ago. And, when we talk about especially new offensive linemen coming in, 5 guys that likely have never worked together before as your starting 5, one of them in Jakarius Peak, who knows what game exactly he's going to come back in. Communication is going to be a very big deal going into the start of the year. And again, they're aware of the problem last year. They're trying to combat it, but you can't have those same issues that you had a year ago, because that was one of many reasons why you weren't having success up front, as well as other areas of the team.
Yeah, and I think, guys, that communication and just playing clean football, it certainly was an issue at times for South Carolina. I would even go a step further. I think it's an issue throughout college football, because you do have just so many newcomers. You have the fact that South Carolina's not the only one completely rebuilding an offensive line this year, right? And so I think if you are looking around, on a given Saturday, you're just kind of going to a random game, I felt like I saw, as much as we saw some high-quality football in terms of top teams and great games, there was some low-quality football too, and a big part of it, I think, is just you don't have the cohesiveness that you used to have in college football. So I think it makes it more important to be even more deliberate about how you handle things in terms of communication and, another new scheme, another new play caller. We don't even think about this, but different OCs have different kind of rhythms to how they do things as well in terms of play calling. So we know there's going to be different tempos. All these things at some point probably will be an issue for South Carolina. What you're trying to do right now is make it be as little of an issue as possible, because everybody's going to have some pre-snap stuff happen at some point in the season.
Yeah, by the way, I saw a stat. 2 of the most penalized teams last year, apparently Texas Tech and Texas. Interesting.
Okay.
2 of the more talented rosters, you'll see, but nonetheless.
Those were the 2 most penalized?
Yeah, apparently.
And that's overall penalties?
Yeah, just like penalties per game.
Okay.
When I think about communication, particularly up front on the offensive line, you're going to think about, are you hearing the snap count, all those things, but we saw some of all last year. If you think about, all right, what does communication mean? That doesn't just mean, hey, if Lenore's calling the play, the center talking to the guard, who's then talking to the tackle, any changes that you're making pre-snap, all that stuff. Yes, that's important. But then also, look, we saw snap infraction penalties last year, not on the same page in terms of when the ball is supposed to be snapped. You think about communication, not just what you're saying verbally, but how are you communicating, passing off a twist up front. There are problems with that, right? And so that goes back to not just hearing it, but understanding what you're doing within the scheme, understanding situations, and all that matters. And there are problems with all of it. So, I don't know. I think the question originally was more about, Case and Henry's quote, we couldn't hear very well. Sure, that's a problem. But you got to look at all those other aspects too. Is everybody pulling in the same direction and on the same page? Are they playing fast? You brought up a good point yesterday, Wes. When you're playing fast, you typically think about that, putting the defense on its heels, but you've got to be ready too, so you're not going warp speed and then just getting a penalty because you're not set or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I put on a random, this started on the Insiders Forum, somebody posted and said, tell me a random Kendall Briles game to watch. And somebody posted the YouTube embed of Arkansas versus a Mike Leach-led Mississippi State team in, was it 21 maybe? Anyway, and, that was the two things that stood out, like early on in this game. Arkansas was having some of those same issues that South Carolina's had, like pre-snap penalties do happen. And, the other thing was just the creativity of what they were doing and finding their playmakers and just force-feeding them the football, which I think is a big part of Kendall Briles' approach on offense. But, man, I do think also worth pointing out, too, pre-snap penalties, procedural issues, almost never a good thing, right? That may be obvious, but the fact that some of the teams you mentioned earlier have the most penalties, like of all kinds, I think is yet another example of, like, in a weird way, not all penalties are bad. It's kind of like you would say, hey, quarterback, interception, bad. Okay, but you don't want a quarterback to go through an entire season without an interception. Because if they're doing that, they're not putting the ball in tight windows at all. There's no way you can go through a season and be a great quarterback without a ball getting tipped and picked off. The other side of it is if I'm not getting a defensive pass interference at some point, then I probably don't have good enough coverage. If I don't get a holding call at some point on the O-line, then I need to hold a little bit more, So really, you kind of, I think, probably want to be a little bit more maybe middle of the pack in penalties, maybe the lower part of the middle of the pack, but you don't actually, in a weird way, want to be last in penalties either, even though that sounds backwards to say.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we'll see how much that improves for Carolina starting with the season in 16 days. We'll come back, wrap up the hour. Lenore Sellers made his rounds on college football Twitter yesterday for how he's going to be spending this semester. Wes is keyed up for a rant. We'll let him do that coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Thursday on the Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Jen from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, a bakery, a coffee shop, burger joint, or a pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? We got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
There was a fight at the Dallas Cowboys-New Orleans Saints joint practice yesterday, with Cowboys defensive back Kalen Carson getting into it with New Orleans Saints tight end Brock Rechsteiner. Rechsteiner is the son of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner. And out of all the players in the NFL to start something with, to start a fight with, why in the world would you pick the son of the big bad booty daddy? I'm Nick Costos.
What's up, fellas? Mike Golick Jr. here. Labor Day weekend is back. Football, tailgates, and the grill's hot. But one bad play can change your world. You knock back a few drinks, think you're fine to drive, and that's how lives get turned upside down. Yours, your boys, everyone on the road. So don't fumble it. In 2024, nearly 12,000 people died in alcohol-impaired driving traffic deaths. So call the right play. Plan for a designated driver, a rideshare, or crash on the couch. Be the MVP this season. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now, save up to $1,400 on Tempur-Pedic Split King sleep systems. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 50 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately. With a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare, you can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. No application fee if you apply by September 1st. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
With Kohl's Back to School sale, kids get styles that say, I'm so back. And you get savings that say, I'm so good at this. Save up to 40% on school essentials. Plus, shop in-store this weekend for your chance to get up to $100 instant Kohl's cash. Back to school confidence runs in the family. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. Offers end August 23rd. See store or kohls.com for details.
Surprise. Wait, do I know you? You use your Discover cashback card to earn 5% cashback on restaurants all quarter.
Yeah.
Now, it's payback time.
Whoa, hold on.
Go ahead.
Oh, you mean my Discover cashback.
I told you there'd be payback.
You know, you have a weird way of delivering good news.
I'm working on that.
Activate and earn 5% cash back at different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases.
Terms apply. See discover.com/5 for details.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Got a couple off-topic questions for you. With your degree, are you pretty close to finishing that up? Or?
Yeah, so I'm done with all my classes. I just got my internship this semester, so that's all I'm doing.
Okay, what is your internship here?
I'm doing party, just facility management, stuff like that, cutting grass, picking up balls, little stuff like that.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Thursday on the game. I'm getting ahead of myself. That was Lenore Sellers the other day talking to local media, and he was asked a question about how he's spending his semester as he's getting close to graduating, and that answer of, well, I'm doing an internship at Partee, made its rounds on college football Twitter yesterday. They mentioned it on SportsCenter this morning. A lot of people.
Did they really?
They did, yeah. A lot of people have various opinions on Lenore Sellers' class schedule or lack thereof this semester. And Wes, you've been very out front about making sure people have their facts right on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you said I had a rant. I really don't have a rant. My only rant right now is I'm just ready for football, guys. Like, golly, this has gotten it's a little bit exhausting. Just all the, people wanted more. Maybe I am about to rant. No, I'm not.
Oh, come on, man.
No. I'm not. We cannot let the 10% drive what we complain about.
I'm very guilty of that.
We cannot do it.
I'll be like, this is a fringe thing, but I'm going to rant about it. No.
But also, everybody wanted a little bit more detail from Beamer on the injuries. He provided it to Chris Lowe yesterday. Oh, well, we already knew that. I mean, what do you want? And then the Lenore's thing, like, there's a lot of examples of, like, student not being part of student athlete anymore. I think the thing that was a little bit annoying about this one is that, like, Lenore's actually did everything right. He has the internship for sport and entertainment management major. You have to have an internship at the end, or at some point. You also have to have a practicum for that matter, which he's already done with Contract Construction, which is doing the Williams-Brice Reimagined project. And so he only has 6 hours left. The internship will fulfill those 6 hours. And there's an NCAA rule. If you are in your final semester working towards a degree, you only have X number of hours left. If you are enrolled in doing those hours, you don't have to take classes for no reason. So, I mean, this is not him doing underwater basket weaving, like,
not a no-show job.
Yeah, like I just, and I get some of the stuff out there was actually like, some of the stuff out there was fun. It was like, oh man, what a great way for your quote unquote like senior year, like your intern. It was tongue in cheek. It was cool. But you've got a freaking politician from Louisiana tweeting about this, about how you should have to be in class if you're. I'm like, dude, I sure hope you have a better understanding of the other things you're posting about in your political career than you do about this one, because you have completely missed the mark here.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling Wes off air, like, I was a senior in high school. I was in class. I got my diploma.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good grades. I mean, I was good enough to go to college.
Yeah. You turned out all right.
I had, thank you.
You got that South Carolina Education Lottery.
Got Life Scholarship.
Life Scholarship.
There you go.
Ding.
And my senior year, late arrival, early dismissal, took gym again. You had like 2 classes. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But you know why I could do that? I went to class. Freshman, sophomore, junior. I had some credits. I took AP classes. So when I got to be a senior, I could chill a little bit.
You had fulfilled all your requirements up to that point.
I'd fulfilled my requirements.
Is exactly what Lenore Sellers has done, which allows him to, have a pretty chill fall semester.
Good for him.
I think it's fantastic news on the football field, though.
Hey,
you know, you don't have to
less distractions.
Yeah, time to. But here's the thing, man. He could have just vaulted to the NFL last year. I know he didn't have the season he wanted, but he would have got drafted. Instead, he came back. Yes, he is going to be well compensated via NIL and rev share and all that stuff. But he did come back. Maybe I should go back to school. He will get his degree in December, and so he'll be an NFL draft pick, probably a very high one, with a degree, and has carried himself the right way the whole time. So, yeah, again, some of the stuff was fun. Some of the stuff was just cringy.
This is why we need football.
Yes.
Because like
we're getting stir crazy.
Stir crazy is a great word. Like every story that comes out, let me have some crazy reaction to it. Hot take.
Hey, didn't I tell y'all though? I said when camp starts, preseason camp starts, we're excited. We kind of have football back when you hit the midway point of camp, the about 2.5 week point. The team, they're tired of hitting each other. We're tired of talking about the storylines.
Yes.
We have hit the mid-camp lull.
Yes,
and no amount of week 0 can save you from that. We need real life week 1 level football. What is this weekend, by the way?
Week 1 level.
-1.
Week -1.
-1.
Are there any games this weekend at all? Is there like FCS?
No, FCS also starts next weekend.
Ooh, okay.
So you got
high school
NFL
football this weekend?
Yeah. Hey,
high school. That'll get us through.
High school football scoreboard show with Justin Hall tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The first one of the season.
Is Irma or is it the Irma Rock Hill game this weekend?
He was just actually texting me about that. Let's see.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
tomorrow
it is.
night.
In Irmo or in?
I believe it's in
the
Irmo.
Thrill.
It is in Irmo. Yep.
Okay.
A lot of games got moved to tonight because of weather tomorrow. But yeah, that one's still set for tomorrow.
Do not think I'll be at that game, but odds are I'll be at an Irmo game this year. I'll provide my.
So the high school football show kicks off tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
Is Pat McAfee hosting that?
He is not. He's hosting everything else.
Okay, just
I saw a great tweet. It was like he's gonna like be beamed into your brain and tell you like what to watch and what to think.
Oh man, I like McAfee, but it is getting a little much right now.
Well, that's the thing, Tyler. I think he's entertaining in spurts, especially like College Game Day playing that role. Perfect. I'd have nothing against Pat McAfee.
You're gonna get a big spurt.
But now they're like, we're gonna put him on every show.
They fired all their other NFL insiders like Ryan Clark, who was on Countdown. Like, oh crap, we got to fill his role. McAfee,
We'll
you
just give it to Matt.
Yeah, why not? Halftime show up next on your Thursday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive deals, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to Game Day. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. That means South Carolina, from Texas to California to Florida, every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. Remember the date, September 2nd. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1075TheGame, spend $5 to get $150 in rewards within 14 days. That's code 1075TheGame. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends August 23rd. For terms, go to dkng.co/predictions promo. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sport contest availability. Varies by state.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you?